Hello. Hello, Kokiro.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I asked like 6 times, but I
I'd
know you well enough to know that
I'd appreciate it. Oof, what was that?
that was
I'd
it.
appreciate it, Danielira, if
Uh-huh.
you could tell me
Oh,
beforehand so I can get ready.
yeah. So maybe 5 times are not enough. We need 10
Please,
times.
please.
Yeah.
It's very
My
embarrassing.
fault, of course.
Very embarrassing. How are you, Danielira?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Is your body adjusting to
The
um
chair?
well, not the chair. I was talking about the jet lag. Like,
Oh,
are you
I
completely
think I'm
adjusted or?
I think I'm getting there. Still wake up. I think last night I woke up maybe at 1,
Yeah, it was
then I went
terrible for
back
you.
to sleep and I woke up at 4:30.
Terrible.
And then I couldn't go back to sleep. So
Terrible.
it's okay.
No,
I
terrible.
only need like a couple of hours of good sleep a day, so not that bad. I
Yeah.
don't think that's anything to be proud of. It's just like that's my body. Like I've always known that about my body. So
Yeah.
um, if I get a good 4 hours sleep, I feel
That sounds terrible. I mean, I need
no
more than 8.
8 days. I feel
Yeah.
it's for you.
Yeah.
You know, if you could do like small hibernations,
Mm-mm. No, because you know what happens to me too? I mean,
hibernate.
I love sleeping, but I also feel bad. And now it doesn't happen that much because now I wake up early.
Yeah,
But when I used to work in the bar, that I
yeah.
used to wake up super uh, late because
Mm-hmm.
I was getting home super late, I felt so bad because I felt like I wasn't living.
Okay.
Like, I know it sounds like super dark, but I remember there was one birthday. Maybe I was like 3 years into bartending.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I don't have that many memories of this year. I mean, I was sleeping so much because I was like studying
Mm.
and I was like, I mean, I had memories, but it was like not morning memories.
Yeah.
I mean, all the
More like
memories I
dreams.
had were like in the afternoon, at night. So I felt bad because I wasn't enjoying mornings. I wasn't enjoying the day as I wanted to.
Yeah.
So
Well,
now I like it that I wake up early. And even if I don't do anything, I mean, it's not like I wake up, go take a run, then
yeah. Let's not
do
push.
like a super cool breakfast and
Yeah. Let's not
no,
exaggerate. Come on.
of course, I never do that. But it could be like a super slow morning, but I
Yeah.
enjoy it so much.
Yes.
So yeah, I
Um.
love sleeping, but also
But
living.
there's people that are night people,
Yeah,
and they would never conceive their lives waking up at like 5:30, quarter to 6 in the morning,
yeah,
getting ready. You know, going
yeah.
and taking the bus.
But I think I was a night person, but
Mm-hmm.
was always like wanting to enjoy mornings. So I think I was a night person because that's how the rhythm of my life was going in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't because I was just functional at night or I enjoyed more nights. I enjoyed both because I have to say I really enjoyed working like at 2 a.m. in art related things.
Yeah.
Like in the week when I was doing something, it's like super quiet. It's like a different vibe, I
Yeah.
will
There's a
say.
lot of people that like that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, but I was always like enjoying that, but I was also saying, "Ah, I wish I could wake up early, or I wish I could like go to to have breakfast with a friend, or I was always missing that, and I feel that when people are like night person,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really miss that. They're
Right.
like, no, I don't care about mornings. I mean, I care about late nights.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
I've never been anything but a morning person.
yeah,
I
you're like,
can't conceive
yeah,
like if I see a slither of light, you know, coming in through the window, that to me means that the day began.
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's because I've always attached the idea of painting with the idea of light.
mm-hmm.
So, I think my whole life has revolved around just being up, when the light is there so that I could, well, my whole professional life.
Yeah.
But even when I was very young, SAMU school, the school I went to, you have to wake up super early.
It's like particularly early.
Yeah, yeah. You have to wake up super early. SAMU gets picked up by the bus
Yeah.
around 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
yeah, it's a little weird, but I always thought that was normal, that was just my reality.
And to be honest, it was like a perfect fit for you.
Yes. Well, for my whole family, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because my
for
mother is a
me-
morning person. My sisters were morning people also. I would say.
No, but Luisa maybe
No,
not.
Luisa's
Because you
not.
told me that
And
Luisa was more
and my
similar
brother was
to me.
actually quite a night person, to be
Mhm.
honest. But he did the whole waking up really early, and nowadays he wakes up super early.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think this is my mother that really passed on to us.
Yeah.
Just waking up super super early. Downside to that is always that you have to start fighting at 7 o'clock
Yeah.
to not get tired. If you're doing stuff constantly, then your mind is not thinking about it. But oh my God, if I lie down for anything after 7:30, I can risk just being out cold.
Yeah.
But
But you
that
know
thing
that...
is, I'm gonna wake up like at 12,
yeah.
thinking like, okay, I've got my good sleep.
Yeah,
Like,
let's
what do I do
start
now?
the
Yeah,
day. Yeah. But I was going to say that I feel that we, in the relationship, we're
Yeah.
lucky that I'm not 100% a night person or a morning person. Like, I can adjust myself. Because if I was a completely night person, we wouldn't have time to like share outside of work.
yeah,
Because in the super early mornings, if I was a night person, I wouldn't be awake. And then at night, I would want to do things, and you would be like super tired, which was the case when we were dating, and I was still studying, because I was used to working until late night.
yeah,
So I just like tried to. I mean, I went to the university. Sometimes I had like early classes, but I always tried to fit my schedule, like in a late morning till the afternoon. So I remember sometimes we went back to my parents' home and we were like trying to watch a movie or whatever, and you were super tired.
oh yeah,
And I'm happy that now we have schedules that match. I would not say completely because you
No.
wake up at 4,
yeah.
but they match pretty well.
Yeah, I think, I never really thought about these things,
Mhm.
to be honest, but I'm guessing like when you date a person, like that's huge.
I think it is
You know,
100%.
if you would have been like a person that wanted to go out at night, like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
we probably would have gone out a couple of times, but if that was the rhythm of your life, which would probably resemble mine when I was like a lot younger,
Hmm.
but I would have been like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I
No,
think
it-
we're in different places
And
right
I think
now.
it would be not a fit for you and not a fit for me.
Exactly,
If that was
exactly.
my
Two
life.
people,
I think
yeah.
that, yeah.
Two people have to acknowledge that it's like, hey, if this is, I can't be up when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So,
And I think we understood our rhythms, our routines,
yes.
since we had them set when we were together but not living together. But I think it's super different to think about your schedule
Yeah.
when you live with someone and when you don't.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
when
for
we-
us, the big change, the first big change was when you quit.
Yes, no,
work.
that's what I was trying to get to. Because I was going to say that when we were together but we were living apart,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we set a time, a date, so we
Yeah.
could see each other, but then we would like you will go to your house, I would go to my house, and that was it.
Yes.
But then when we started living together and I was still working, I felt very sad, like all the weekend, because I was always trying to be there with you, like sharing time with you and with someone, Fer,
Yeah.
but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I would get back home at, I don't know, 5:30 a.m. So you were up already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you were like super nice, and you would like snuggle with me a little bit, but then you would start the day, and then I would wake up, have lunch, take a shower, and go back to work. So
Yeah.
I just felt, I remember I was sad thinking like, we're finally living together, which is something we really wanted to do, but we are not being able to enjoy time together. I mean, we're like not even like sleeping together at the same time
Yeah.
because we were like using the same bed but in different times.
I remember
So
telling Samu and Fer like, shh,
yeah, and I
Danny
felt
just got
bad.
home.
I felt bad about that too.
No, no, no. That wasn't it
No,
was never like something that was bad.
no. I felt bad with myself because sometimes I was like sleeping and I would wake up because maybe someone Fer were laughing. And I remember you were like, no, Danny's sleeping. And I felt bad because I was like, "Oh, I'm so tired, but I would love to be out there with you guys, like playing or just like being there with you, but
Right.
not being like that potato in the bed always."
Well, I
So,
like that potato.
yeah. No, but I'm happy that nowadays our times fit perfectly.
Yes.
Yes.
So, talking about fitting perfectly,
Okay.
I don't know how to segue into what I'm doing. But I don't know why I started drawing. I guess I really like the shapes of this photo that I took of you. It was the platform, the model platform that we used back in Rome,
Yes.
and you had your you look like a super cool explorer.
I look like I'm going to a safari.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's super nice. So you had that like one piece suit,
Jumper, yeah.
jumper suit, and your bucket hat. We had like a super bright light coming from above, and I just love shapes of like planes that catch the light kind of perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then they obscure. They cast a shadow over other forms.
Yes.
So it's almost like a shape that is swallowing up all the light, and then everything else just sort of diffuses into shadow.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Because I said jumper and it's romper.
Rumper.
Jumper
Oh.
is like the jacket, so I
Oh,
wanted
you
to
could have told me.
correct that.
You could have told me it was a thumper,
Yeah.
and I would have said yes,
Thunder.
a thumper. Yeah.
Thunder, yeah.
Oh, I trust that you could tell me anything about clothes, and I'd be like, yes, you know more about clothes than I do.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So a thumper. And I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
No, you were talking about the shadows.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not super deep shadow
Mm-hmm.
because light was bouncing all over the place in that in the room that we were using to paint.
Yeah.
But it's still that tone that is going to serve as shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like those lighting conditions, and that together with something that I absolutely love, which is symmetry, which is the fact that we have an axis and two hemispheres that are not perfectly symmetrical, but we understand ourselves as symmetrical. So I love to always not challenge that, because I don't think that's something that we human beings, I don't know. I guess, yeah, no. I guess that sort of Greek idea of symmetrical beauty, that very classical idea of symmetrical beauty, still holds true. I'm pretty sure actors that are very successful or that are understood to be very handsome, or models that are understood to be, sexy, beautiful, whatever word you want to pick, they're probably still almost like, or we are probably still beholden to this idea of classical, like symmetrical beauty that agencies and, I don't know, clothes and makeup and all these industries want to push onto us to define what is beautiful. But I think people have been understanding that human bodies are far more exciting than just this idea of symmetry.
Yeah, because also symmetry in that cases go hand in hand with the idea of perfection.
Yeah, yeah. The
So
very
like
classical
no
idea of
flaws at all.
right, right. Your hemispheres are both exactly the same. But I like, for example, I like that my left arm. I'm right-handed. My left arm altogether is far less stronger. So, you can tell that it has a different shape
Mm-hmm.
than my right arm. My hands are the same. They have like slightly different shapes just because I do most of the hard work I do with my right. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love that. I think that it kind of tells hemispheres tell a story. Like
Mm-hmm.
different hemispheres tell a story. And I've always been really kind of enthralled with the act of observation that comes from saying, well, this is, for example, this is one side. Are we looking at the picture that we're using?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. We
So
have
this
the
is
reference
one side of the
in
collar,
left.
and my mind immediately says what's happening with the other side of
Mm-hmm.
that collar.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love to see if it's in the I always check to see if it's at the right, if it's at the same level or if it drops down a little bit. And I always say if it drops down, I'm going to drop it even more.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's doing that slightly, I'm going to drop it just a little bit more just to see where it starts to look like ridiculous or off. I love those sort of things. I love it. And if a shoulder drops, for example, this one, it's far rounder, I guess, because I like that your back is kind of, kind of hunched a little bit behind
Mm-hmm.
there. And the shoulder, it doesn't quite push up as much. But when I see that something is pushing up, I like to overemphasize the fact that it's pushing up.
Mm-hmm.
And if this one is pushing up, I feel that the other one, like, it would be super, super sexy to just like drop it down
Mm-hmm.
even more than what's there. So there's tiny little things that are just, I don't know, they just make everything for me. It's small, the smallest of things. And perhaps that's why I kind of like to do pictures that, we talked about this quite a bit, that function in these two planes, like in these two X and Y axes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do nearly enough. We talked about this. I don't do nearly enough like the Z axis. I don't do pictures that have to do with depth, with something, happening here, and then there's like another figure doing something in the back, and or just like a figure, in the front, like super large figure in the front. I never I never do stuff that kind of goes back into space, like moves back into space. Not even like super theatrical stuff, like Dutch painters would have like something in the foreground, and then in here would be whatever. I don't know. I'm gonna do the most stereotypical, but it would be windmill or something. Like it's almost as if this part of the stage was blocking a light that was in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So then this middle plane would catch the light, and then behind it would be shadow again.
Okay, yeah.
So it was just this very narrow kind of passageway of light, and it you can kind of tell that it's super Dutch. I don't know why I think about it, but it would be dark, light, and maybe some dark shadows,
Mm-hmm.
dark clouds in the back, and dark. But it would always be like boop 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 boop,
Yeah.
like a rhythm that you could just totally almost like cut out.
You could see like the layers, yeah.
Yeah, and I always thought that was very like a theater set.
Yeah.
You know how in theaters they have,
Like a diorama too.
yeah, like a very old school cutouts to describe depth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't even do this. I with my own work. I love to see it, but I never, when I think of pictures, I never think about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could have very well put like, I don't know, imagined, because the figure goes down, like that kind of. But I could have kind of imagined that there's I don't know, a table here, or there's something in the foreground with your bag, or something that makes like really cool shapes, and it's in
Mm-hmm.
shadow. So you have to go past the shadow to get to the figure. And that's super, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of like cinematography that does that just to
Mm-hmm.
like establish this scene, and there's a lot of stuff, and then you traverse through that stuff because those things tell a story also.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like, am I just being boring, or am I being cheap, or am I being like purposely, I don't know, uninterested in those things, or lazy? Um, because I almost want to jump that hurdle and say, well, my interest lies here. Like, don't make me jump through that. Don't make me do all of this, like zigzag my way through a bunch of these, instances of the painting to get to what I like. I kind of want to see what I want to see.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because I love picture making, and a lot of illustration and picture making has to do with like the traversal of shapes to get that and the speed at which you traverse those shapes gives you like rhythm in an image. And
Yes.
I love all those things. Like I genuinely love everything that happens in those pictures that are far more complex than anything that I do. But mine is like, it's almost like it slaps you in the face. Well, it doesn't slap you because I don't think I do like super punchy stuff, mm, but I think it's just like it's right there.
But
It's
I
like
don't think it's
there.
being like lazy or anything. I think it
I
just,
hope not.
no, it just talks about your intent. Because I think that like all the decisions you take in composition talk about the way you want the image to be traveled.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's not like, oh, if you do like more steps to the reading, then it's more interesting than the other one. Because I do think that both can be interesting and both can be super boring too.
Yes, I think both can be done well, and both can be also very predictable.
Mm-hmm.
We saw at the Vatican when we were almost reaching the Sistine Chapel, we saw some of the 20th century stuff that they have, some
Mm-hmm.
a little more contemporary than others, but they had a couple of Morandis, and I love it. Like whenever I see something that's very simple and just direct, where maybe complex painters like the ones that we saw, like late 19th century painters that we
Mm-hmm.
saw in Madrid in El Prado,
Yeah.
like those historical paintings are as complex as you can paint.
Yeah.
Like they are doing everything. They are ticking every box. It's
Yeah.
almost as if you have to be good at 20 things to do those paintings. It's crazy. It's crazy how absurdly complex those paintings can be. And they do everything well. Like that's why I don't think we'll ever reach, at least technically, we'll ever reach the point where, you know, that they reached in the 1880s till 1900s
Mm-hmm.
in terms of sort of naturalist or like classically born painting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll ever go back to that. We just can't. We don't have the right context to be as good as they were at that moment. Doesn't mean that we don't have incredible painters, but not like that. Um, and when I see those things, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing 20 things right. And the way I see myself is like, I do 3 things, but I try to do those 3 things like super well.
But again,
I think that's my thing.
yeah, but I feel that's like super okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's like, because again, it's talking about the way you paint and the way you are attracted to things too. Because I mean, as you were saying, I mean, you see something and you're like, oh, I want to paint that. Like, I don't want all this information around it. I just want to let everyone know that my interest is this specific thing. And I do think that's super cool. Because I think that uh, it may be different for me. That I like tend to get attached to little details. So if I see like little bits of information, I can't let them go. I just want them all to be there. And I think that you, and it goes with you, with your personality, with the way you paint, you're like, yes, everything's super cool, but this is the thing I want to talk about.
Right.
So,
You know why I think I'm like that's on my mind? Because once again, we were on a trip that was surrounded, or every step that we took on that trip was surrounded by some of the most beautiful and beautifully complex pieces of art that you'll ever see.
yeah.
And even though like it's not quite like, we saw a lot of Baroque painting, for example, a lot of Renaissance, high Renaissance, and Baroque painting. Even though it's not quite the level of complexity that that you can see, because I do think paintings in the late 19th century are far more complex. Even though it's not that level of complexity, it was still like enormously difficult to produce. And whenever I see those examples of painting, I'm thinking, for example, of the conversion of Saint Paul.
Yes.
I mean, that painting has no right to exist. I mean, it's so weird and so difficult to paint, and it's such a strange composition, and it looks nothing. I mean, Hollis is like an enormous fan of Caravaggio, and he has like a super keen eye, and he remembers like a lot of painters in the Baroque would inherit compositions and poses, for example, from classical art. It could either be statues or engravings or anything that was, that was part of that classical history. They would use, because it was also a way of saying, hey, I know my history. I'm educated in the arts. So they would, pay homage, but they would also say, look, this is my tradition, my history. I know my tradition. And it's super cool. Like, Hollis would point out things that would come, like things that Caravaggio would be looking at, that would be echoed in one of his paintings. And what's weird about the conversion of St. Paul painting is that it looks nothing like anything.
No.
Like, no horse butt was ever painted like that.
Like, just in front.
No.
That's
it's
like
crazy.
the protagonist of
No.
all the painting.
I mean, we moved from Uccello's horses, which were divine, which is like the funkiest horses in perspective that you'll ever see, and that's why I adore him. He's amazing. Then we moved to Raffaello's horses, which are incredible. I mean, he's probably that one, that person, him and Da Vinci at some point, but Raffaello had like this perfect understanding of what was going to be, the quintessential classical horse. In fact, his horse is the one that Rubens paint, like the butt of the horse, that horse that's kind of standing on its hind legs, butt down, those little spots of light on the butt. That horse was repeated for centuries. Like, that's the Rubens horse. That's the David horse. That horse is also painted by Géricault. I mean, there's so many people that ended up painting, like, okay, that is the horse that, shows that you are part of like horse painting history. And suddenly we get that damn horse in Caravaggio that it's like, how the hell did you paint? Like, how did you convince people? Because you had to convince, popes and
because you're not painting a horse. You're painting the conversion of Saint Paul.
I know.
So it's like,
exactly. I mean, and Saint Paul is one of the patrons of Rome.
Exactly.
Rome has
I mean,
two patrons, which are the two biggest disciples, which are Peter and Paul, and they are going, like, this is a chapel that holds the two patrons of Rome.
Yeah.
So you can't paint anything bigger. I mean, you can paint Jesus, I guess, but you can't paint anything bigger than that in terms of your city and the people that are, protecting your city.
And then again, you decide to make a painting where the 80% of the painting is a
horse's
horse,
ass.
and the 40% of that 80% is the ass. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
The horse,
it's crazy.
the ass.
It's crazy.
And then you realize, oh, that's Saint Paul.
The
over
way
there.
and in a super strange pose also.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody had ever painted that pose. Nobody had ever attempted that light. Nobody had, of course, ever attempted to paint a horse in such a like chiaroscuro lighting condition. I mean, just insane. That again, that painting has no right to exist. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you can, if you scribble that painting. And we did that painting for.
Oh yeah, I could share it here.
Yeah.
Because we did.
I think we talked pretty cool. I mean, I haven't rewatched that video, but I remember we talked plenty about that painting in that video. But you had to go past like a cardinal and then the Pope. I mean, church had to like authorize this painting. They were paying for it. It's not. It's not as if you just paint something for yourself and then the church comes by and they go, oh, we like that. Let me throw some scudi in your face and, we're going to take that and put it in a chapel. No, it's just, how did he do that? How was he able to convince, these people?
Because also, again, it was the second version too.
Oh, yeah, the first one is.
Because the first one
insane.
is like super convoluted.
Oh,
like things here, things there.
Like painting vomit.
You don't even see the horse. You can see like the tail, then you see like a head.
First one is like the most Kahindi Wiley Caravaggio that you could think of. It's just it's just this kaleidoscope of shapes that's just crazy.
But I just love that composition get rejected, and Caravaggio thinks, I mean, it was rejected. Now I'm gonna go with a composition that's like even riskier.
Yeah, dude, that's
with
too
a
weird.
Huge,
Okay, let me paint. Oh, so sorry. Yes, you're right. It's too weird.
Yeah.
Let me
It's
paint a
horse
huge
butt.
ass.
Yeah, so crazy.
Nah,
it's just
it's insane.
yeah.
But then what I'm thinking is like, maybe in the let's call it 1890s, these people would do 20 variables amazing, and in the 1600, let's say that for Caravaggio, he was doing, I don't know. I mean, painting, drawing comes in. Let's say, 6 things like incredible, but 6 things that you could reach God with those 6 things. So 2020s, I think I do 3. And I guess I'm trying to convince myself of all of this because I was feeling really low at one point.
In the trip?
Yeah. You feel like super hacky. You feel like, what the hell? What am I doing? Like, I should be far more ambitious with my work. Like, far more ambitious. Like, what's the point if you're not going to paint to do something that's just going to, I don't know. I felt like that's how I felt. Like, if you're not going to paint to do something that can just turn the world on fire, then why paint? Like, that thought started entering my brain, that kind of, and I think it's good thought, but not really.
No, I don't think it's
I think it's like
thought.
a virus.
No, I think it's your brain like trying to self-sabotage, because I think that happens to me too.
Well,
I mean, because I think that seeing amazing art just makes me realize all the flaws in the things I do. But I think that's like a process of like digesting all the amazing things you're like witnessing.
Yeah.
And I think that there's like stages. I mean, when you go to in a breakup, you have like stages.
Okay.
And I think that you also have like a lot of stages when you see in real life art that you love. Because it's like you're super happy, but then you're super down. But then you're like, okay, but then you're down again. Then you want to paint, but you can't paint. And then you paint and you get worse because it's like, no.
The drop?
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I so want to see this painting.
Yeah.
That happened to me with Francisco Pradilla when we went to
Yeah.
El Prado.
That happened to me with everything because it
Mm.
was my first time in El Prado. It was my first time in the house of Sorolla. It was my first time in all the museums we went to in Rome. So
Mm.
it's like, I mean, I couldn't get up.
Yeah.
I was like getting down and down and down. I
That,
mean,
that painting of the baptism of the prince, I think it was, something like that.
mhm.
That to me was like, oh, I so want to see this painting. I saw the painting. It's like, oh my God, my life is incredible. Fireworks. Like you're like, boof, boof, boof. Your brain is like completely, your synapses are on fire.
Yeah.
Like it's electricity going through your brain. The drop, the walk back home.
Because I
It
witnessed,
is,
and not even the walk back home, because I witnessed all your emotions when you were in front of the painting. You
oh,
were
it
like,
was,
oh, this is so good. I'm so happy. Ah, this is painfully
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
And then
you
you
go,
were
oh
like,
my
you know what? Let's go to another room. It's
Yeah.
just like, I can't see it anymore.
I
It's just
can't.
like hurting me,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
physically hurting me.
Yeah, I think that's what, that's the pain part of painting.
Yeah.
That's where it comes
The
from.
pain
Yeah. That's when you realize
painting.
yeah. I mean, it's an old joke, but
Yeah.
I do feel it. When I saw that, I was like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too
Yeah.
much. I mean, thank you, universe, for this human being.
But come on.
But could you tone it down for the
Yeah.
normal people like us?
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, because he's dead already. Like
Yeah.
he did all the amazing stuff that he was going to do with his life. He's fine. Like he's somewhere, I don't know, in the universe, feeling super happy about what he did in his life. But we're stuck here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to like go back home and try to digest that painting
Yeah.
and not feel like complete crap. So, you know what happened to me though that it was very nice?
Mm-hmm.
That at my lowest, I feel, at my lowest, when I was feeling like, what's the point? Like here I am being excited by, oh, look at this little shaving. Look at this little wood shaving that came out of my pencil when I sharpened it. I'm gonna paint that. And I'm not even joking. I think I threw it away at some point. Is it still here? I was saving it right here. This little wood shaving that after I sharpened the color, I saved it for months. It's like, I gotta paint this. I have to paint this. At
Where
some
is
point,
it?
no, I think I threw it away when I.
Now I want to see it.
No, I think I threw it because I felt that I was like, dude, if you're gonna paint it, but don't just keep it there for years. No, I think I threw it away when I cleaned a little bit. I threw it away.
Yeah.
But I'm that sort of person that just will see that and say, "Oh my God, there's such a beautiful painting in there," and that's the painter that I am. Like, I don't have to like think, "Oh, how has a horse never been painted?" And let me see how I can paint a horse. I don't know. Like those sort of challenges don't really enter my brain. But when I was feeling really bad, I was looking at my phone and somebody posted, I think it was the Edwin Dickinson account. And they posted the most simple Edwin Dickinson painting ever. It looked like a sketch of a sketch of a sketch of a sketch.
Mhm.
Like it looked like just notes done with paint.
What painting is it? I'm
I
trying to look
forget.
for it.
Let me see. Let me see what they posted.
Maybe this one?
Oh, got it. And I opened my phone.
Oh, this one.
No. I opened my phone and there's like a line decker. As soon as I opened my stupid Instagram, now I see a line decker, for God's sake. I'm not sure if it was this. Would it? No, that wouldn't
This
match.
one?
Maybe it was a story. Maybe they posted a story. But something like this. This July 5th, so this could have, but I think they were posting a story.
Uh-huh.
But it was nothing. It's nothing. Like even look at this, just rocks.
Yeah.
That's so abstract, nothing. Like and I saw it and I was like, I am so in love with this man and his painting. And it almost, when I was down, it was like this perfect thing that showed me, no, just remember that there is other types of painting. There is very, very different types of painting
Yeah.
out there. And it does, like, Edwin Dickinson does not have to be Caravaggio.
No.
Does not.
I mean,
Edwin Dickinson is somebody that I absolutely adore and will adore my whole life
yeah.
because he's Edwin Dickinson. And he, I don't know how insecure he was about his painting. I think most painters are at some point insecure about their paintings. But I'm sure that, he didn't think he had to be Caravaggio. Although he did that super classical painting of the, I think it's called like the Ruins of Daphne or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very, he abandoned that painting. But it's a very classical, like there's a classical DNA to that painting that's pretty incredible. But when I saw these like looser paintings of his, these super abstract looser paintings of his, I was like, thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly what I needed, because if I hadn't seen that, I think my body, my brain, like everything would have started to convince itself, like my whole body would have started to convince itself that I was just lazy, that I was just not doing real painting, that I was, just doing small efforts, like hiding behind small efforts of painting. And I love that happened, and that it just very quickly, it's almost like painting heard me, like crying in my little corner, and it just said, it didn't come to my rescue, but it said, no, don't do that, you idiot. Like, here's a lesson. Like,
but I think it came to your rescue.
Well,
I mean, because it was there to let you know that.
I always feel, though, that it's not like a rescue, like a fireman would rescue you from a fire.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't pull you out of the fire.
No, but I think it does.
I think what it does,
stands up. It's like shows you that you can stand up.
But it doesn't force you to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't pick you
true.
up. It tells you, like, look, this exists, but it's up to you if you want to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, this is all you. If you want to stay in your dark place and think you're worthless and think that you're not good enough and you're never going to be good enough and you're not doing nearly enough with painting and your compositions are boring and your sizes are dumb.
Yeah.
If you want to, like, pile everything that you can think of and interpret it as a shortcoming and then just pile it on your shoulders until it crushes you, like, that's all you.
Yeah.
That's all you. But if you want to see that there's beauty in, that you can find beauty and worth in every single kind of breath of art, then that's going to, that's going to come to your aid. Like, that's going to be the thing that reminds you, hey, it's not about you not being Caravaggio. It's never about you not being Caravaggio. If it was about that, then, you should stop wanting to paint as soon as you're born, because you're never going to be Caravaggio.
Yeah.
So it was very nice. I thought it was very, very nice that little thing appeared at just the right moment, just when I needed it. It's really cool. It almost feels like painting is sentient, and it was just like, and it was, hey, you're down. Hey, here's something to remind you that there's a lot of villages. We joke about belonging to certain little towns or villages, or and there's a lot of, like, little towns and villages in painting that have nothing to do with what happens somewhere else. And what's happening somewhere else can be the greatest painting that you'll ever see, but it doesn't mean that the painting that you do on your little village is worthless. Like,
yeah, because I think it's very interesting what you're saying, because I think that when you get the chance to go to a museum or watch amazing art, you start, like, your mind kind of starts tricking you and making you believe that what you're seeing is what art should be. And then you start, like, regretting that that's not the work you're doing.
yeah.
But I think it's very interesting because, I mean, while you were talking, I was thinking, like, yes, it makes sense. I mean, that you see that and you're like super overwhelmed. But if you try to like cool down and really think about the things you want in your art, I mean, I think Caravaggio is crazy good. But if I think about my art, I don't want to. I mean, I don't want my paintings to feel that way. Of course, if I could paint as Caravaggio, I would be like the best painter alive. But what I'm trying to say is that I feel like my intention is different to what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing like a extraordinary execution of a painter that had a different intent than mine and was like brilliant. But then if I go back, I realize there's different things that call my attention. And I think that your mind kind of makes you think in that moment, like you can't differentiate between thinking it's wonderful art and it's not what I do. I mean, I think those things just like crush between each other, and then you have like a mix where you think it's not what I do and it's amazing, so that means what I do is terrible. And I think it's like super different because you could, and we talk about this like a ton of times, but you could appreciate someone's work and respect their work very much, but that doesn't mean that's the type of work you are gonna do.
Yeah.
Because you could appreciate someone else's sensibility, even if that sensibility is not the same sensibility you have when you're creating art. So I think that's very, very interesting. And also, when you were saying like all the things that can just like put you down, it also made me think about the times we've talked about how if you try to like list all the things you are versus all the things you're not, it's like the list of the things you're not, it's like endless. I mean, I could be here talking two
Yeah.
days straight of the things I'm not.
How many painters are, how
No,
many
and not
painters
only
will I never be?
exactly, and not only like in painting but in life. I mean, if you want to describe yourself and you think all the things you're not, it's like an endless list. And when that happens in painting, like when you start thinking like, "Ah, I'm not this painter, I don't have this ability to do 40 things in my painting, and I can't have that chiaroscuro, and I can't manage the palette in that way, and I can't, it's just like it's gonna build up forever. And I don't think that's useful by
Yeah.
any means. So, and I think it's easier to say it because I mean, I experienced that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and 2 months ago when we were also visiting all these museums. And it's like in the moment, your brain just can't understand that that's like the rational way to think about it. It's like you're just like trapped in not being as amazing as the art you're seeing. And it's like hard to like stand up, but it's super nice to know that, for example, that Edwin Dickinson post made
Yeah.
that for you. Because I
Oh,
think
yes.
there's always a time after you have that terrible roller coaster when you realize, well, I'm seeing something that really speaks to my sensibility. And that's like that reminds you the path you really want to be on.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I was thinking while you were saying this?
what?
I don't think I've ever quite thought about this, and I'm sure that there's been studies of this, but I'm not familiar with them, and I would love to talk to maybe some teachers at the university that may know more about this than I do for sure. I wonder if there are accounts of
Mhm.
how, for example, during colonization, how the indigenous groups that were colonized um, received art when Europeans were bringing their art, or when eventually they were quote unquote teaching them how to properly sculpt or properly paint, properly in quotations, by
Yeah.
the way, obviously.
Just like
Um,
teaching their way of.
exactly. So I don't know how that process was. I mean, it had to be as violent as anything that was happening there. Like, hey, your religion is wrong. All these beliefs are wrong. You shouldn't be singing that way. You should be dressed this way. And but in terms of art making, I really wonder how that felt. Like, how was that perceived? Like, when they were saying, "Oh, you paint like that? You paint on mud with like these pigments?" No, look how these pigments can be used to paint on this cloth and do these paintings. Like, I wonder what they thought, because I would love to read something that can share how they saw things, because maybe they saw like a super classical portrait, and maybe they were like, "Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, this is so bad. Like, why are you showing this to us as great painting, when
Or it wouldn't translate.
when our idea of painting has nothing to do with this thing that you're showing us." Maybe they were like, "Your painting looks like you. Why would you do that? Like, why are you trying to paint nature, to copy nature?" I wonder if it's like universal, that we are in awe of being able to not just reproduce nature, but enhance nature in some ways. I wonder if that's like also instinctual, that we are attracted to somebody that is capable of doing that. I wonder. I don't know. Maybe people can tell us if they've read anything that deals with that. I'd be super interested in reading something like that.
Now you made me want to see if I have the notebooks I used in art history back in college.
Like in Latin American.
Yes, because and all the classes I saw, because I saw like art and religious and art in the colonization and all that. And I was thinking, because I mean, if I'm not like mistaken, there was like censor, of course, by part of in part, I'm sorry, of the Spaniards.
Yeah.
And people
It is
were
our case,
using
by the way.
yeah. Were using like different methods to still make the things they wanted to make. So speak in their dialect, or
Right.
I mean their dances, for example.
Or
they
music, or
exactly.
Yeah, but I wonder how. So what I'm looking at, I'm sure there's a clash. There's an enormous clash, and if somebody's imposing something on you, you're going to react by rejecting it. But I wonder if there are accounts of, because we would need their voices, not just somebody like saying, "Oh yeah," and they felt like they wanted to reject. So because that voice would be from this side. But I would love to know if there are accounts of indigenous leaders stating how they perceived this painting, this idea of art, or this idea of music, or and not just say we rejected it, but how, like, what did it look to you like? Like, what did it evoke to you? I wonder if there's anything like that, which is very sad, because that's the other part of the story. That's how, we're always reading like one part of stories. Like it's always the impression.
Tinted.
Yeah. And I was telling you in the Vatican that they have so many, like when you go up that spiral staircase, they have like all these like canoes and like, small boats that indigenous groups from all over the world use. And it's really cool. It's very, very cool. And then you go past that and you see their collection of, you can't go into those rooms, but you see their collection of African art and Aboriginal art and, art from a whole bunch of indigenous people from all over the world. And it's like, okay, are you doing this because like there's such a guilt trip when you look at those images, because it's like, okay, but you went into those countries, into those cities, into those towns, into those like,
and took their art
and destroyed
yeah.
every single tradition that they had,
Yeah.
and convinced them that their gods were wrong and your God was right, and that they should learn, this religion. And it's like, how bad of a guilt trip must that be that they're like trying to say now, it's like, no, we're celebrating their culture. And look at all these like beautiful artifacts and all these beautiful masks and all these beautiful sculptures from all these groups of like indigenous people all over the world. And it's like, yeah, you murdered, all of them. You took everything away from them. Like, why are you putting these things here?
Yeah.
It is so wacky. It's so weird. Like, the church is so, it's so hard for me. I really felt it this year. It was so hard for me to not see the church, to not think about the church when seeing like how enormous St. Peter's is, how absurd their collection in the Vatican is. It's just like, oh my God, like stop it, stop. This was horror. Like this, how can you feel? Because this is how I felt. How can you feel something is so beautiful and so horrible at the same time? It's very weird. That feeling was tearing me apart. It was like, oh my God, look at what we were saying at the Borghese. It's like, oh my God, look at these 4 incredible sculptures that he was hired to do, that Bernini was hired to do. Yeah, but it was like the ugliest, form of nepotism that you'll ever saw in church.
Yeah.
I mean, these people like drained every single poor person from their, from their money and their hard work. And they just robbed everyone from, with taxes, just so that they could build their fortune. This family, the Borghese family, wanted to just build their enormous fortune. I mean, it was enormous. Absurd. And I don't think it was one of the worst ones. Even like the Barberinis that we saw afterwards,
Yeah.
they were worse. They were even worse, I think. They were like 100 times worse. So it is horrendous. But then you see Pietro da Cortona's ceiling and you're like, oh, fuck, don't do this to me. Like, don't ask me to love this because I love it and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's amazing only because you were so, stupidly powerful and corrupt that you were able to pay for this and to do this and afford this. Ugh, so it's so annoying. It's terrible.
Yeah. And
it is terrible to just see those things.
I mean, now you're talking about that in Rome, I felt, when I went to the Pantheon,
yeah.
I was just like conflicted because I was admiring it. It's amazing. And I know it's been rebuilt because it caught on fire and then it was burned. But I was thinking how we could see this and it's so amazing. But there were a lot of different temples that were paganos. How do I say that?
Pagan.
Pagans. And they were burned to the ground
Oh,
because they were pagans.
Yeah.
But this one was converted into a
Church.
Catholic church.
Yeah.
So that's why
It survived.
it's there for us to visit right now. And it was like weird to think about all the amazing stuff that was like all around the world. And because it wasn't Catholic, it had to be like teared down.
Yeah.
It's like it has to be destroyed. And that echoes what after that happened, what you were talking about with art. All the art they confiscated just because they had the power of the church.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
Yeah, I guess, that's if you enjoy that art, that's the price you have to pay for enjoying it. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to acknowledge that this was only possible because church and state were not separated.
Mm-hmm.
And they could abuse that power,
Yeah.
in unimaginable ways. So, yeah, tough. But I think it's important when you look at art, especially, just old art, to understand its context and to not just say, oh my God, this is incredible. And then you go back and you're like, I just saw the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, humanity is incredible. It's amazing. It's like, no, there's a lot of like blood and, pain and suffering and just not even caring about people, like their people, the people that they were supposed to like protect.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much just that's so wrong about those things that, I think you have to deal with that. You have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
You have to. There's it doesn't have to ruin everything. It's not like, oh my God, stop it.
No,
Like,
but I think
oh,
you can't.
stop it. Like, please let me just enjoy, this incredible facade of a church.
No, but I think that you can't like blindly just like enjoy without acknowledging the things that surround it, like the history around the things you're seeing.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I know that it was a joke in the trip that I was like, always like, well, actually, that sculpture was made in blah, blah, blah. And the story of this church is blah, blah, blah. But I think it goes hand in hand with what you were talking about. Because when I knew that I was going to visit Rome, I really wanted to know the places I was going to visit and not only like go there and just like admire things without knowing a little bit of the history around it. Because I think it's also fascinating and heartbreaking and like a ton of things in one. Because you're like admiring something that's like super beautiful, super powerful. But I think as important as enjoying that is also to realize the history
Yeah.
that accompanies that. So that's the reason why I was like super into
Oh, no, that's
getting no, and
no,
I know
you're super curious, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think art demands that we are curious.
Yeah, and I think it also made me experience things in a different way. Because I think that, for example, that we were talking about the Pantheon. If I had no idea about the Pantheon and I would go there, I would just like think it's amazing. It's like the highest form of architecture. It's just so cool. It's amazing, whatever. And I would just like take pictures and that's it. But I think it was very interesting because when I read about the history of it, I was like eager to go there to kind of understand the grandness of the things that were burned down just because they were not Catholic. Because we have the possibility to go to the Pantheon. But there were a lot of places like that we don't even have an idea of how they were. We have no idea how majestic they were. Because they were like the Pantheon.
Yeah.
But again, they were not part of the Catholic Church, so they were teared down.
It was the wrong gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's
Yeah, we haven't
very
said hi.
interesting. We haven't
Yeah,
even
we
said
lost
hi.
everyone.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
think
It's
it's
like we're 1 hour into it,
Yeah,
Nicolas,
and
we
20
have
comments of your mics are not working.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That
yeah.
would be incredible. I
Yeah.
would love that.
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, we're not live. Nicolas,
Yeah.
I didn't press the live button.
Oh, forget it. And I don't know why I've been like, I think I'm drawing too much today, but drawing through our conversation.
No,
I
I like
guess.
that. I like that. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to say hi, I promise. But I was revisiting this morning some videos,
Yeah.
some of the edited videos, and you always used to draw and then paint.
Really?
Yeah, I was like looking at a lot of paintings, and there were paintings that you were like straight to it. But
Yeah.
there were a lot of paintings that you were drawing, then painting, then like redrawing with the painting too. So I was like looking at those drawings with, it's always like red or pink, or it's just like the color you gravitate towards.
Yeah.
But I was looking at that and I was like, oh, that's super nice. And,
And this
now
is a
that you're
nice
drawing,
one.
it's like,
Yeah,
that's
I
super
like
nice too.
I like these shapes.
Yeah, me too.
Like I had this little yearning to keep this and to do it how we usually used to do it,
Mm-hmm.
which was just put PBO, the acrylic binder on top,
Mm-hmm.
and then use some
Like an
liquid to do like
underpainting?
an underpainting,
Yeah.
and then just carefully paint on top. I wonder if we should do that.
But how long would it take to dry the
Well, it would
PBO?
probably be, yeah. We would probably have to do like 3 days of that.
I mean, we could do it
Should we do it?
if you want to. I think it's also
I
interesting,
think so.
and it's also cool to have the opportunity to like realize that this is our channel and we can,
We can do it.
because we're like, oh, we have to do like a entire painting today, but do we?
The thing is, the
No.
only thing is, we're gonna literally watch paint dry.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna need your help. 'Cause
To
I
the
don't
PBO? Yeah.
know- Oh, it's under here.
Yeah, I'll go right there, but let
Yeah,
me.
but let me then
turn
draw. Then let me draw more. Then.
No, I'm just
'Cause
gonna
I'm
grab it for you while you're drawing more.
I think I need. Where it is?
A brush?
No, like sharpener. I think I took it.
I have one. I have mine.
Let me see.
So let me turn off my webcam
No,
for.
but let me see, because maybe I have some here.
No, just to grab the PBO.
Oh, I think I can grab it. I think I can make it.
Okay.
If you see me fall,
Yeah.
then please help me. But
Please laugh.
yeah, first laugh, and then help me out.
Yeah.
No, I don't know where I put it. Where did I put that?
I have my sharpener. I have my sharpener. I have my sharpener right there.
Gloria Pritchett.
Pritchett?
I forgot his last name.
Gloria Pritchett, Nicolas,
Gloria
please. Nicolas.
Did I hit the camera?
Yeah, you're hitting like everything.
We're fine. We're good.
Well,
We are good.
well.
We are not good.
No, I don't know why I'm like paying attention to what you're saying. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Now I'll
Grab that.
fumble my way.
If I
They're trying to. Let's see.
I think I'm gonna go get
Shoulder,
back.
look it up.
Oh, that's good. That wasn't as bad.
No, I'm in pain. I'm in terrible pain.
Okay, I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah. So, we're gonna use our old PBO today. The only thing is, I have to prime this side, and then I have to prime the back, and then I have to prime the front, and then I have to prime the back, and it's annoying, and it curls a little bit, it warps a little bit, but we'll do all those things with you guys. So we can do those things together. Maybe we'll see. Maybe it takes me a little bit longer. So sharpener. Oh yeah, it's a great pencil bag. What do you call these? Pencil case. Yeah, it's a Chocolatina Jet.
Which is the most famous.
Chocolatina Jet. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you.
It used to smell
I don't know what are we talking about?
like chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Wait, yours sucks.
What?
Wait, no, it's working. Kind of.
You just wanted to say that, because I remember you got those. You got one
Oh,
for me,
jeez.
one for you.
Yeah. I think I
And-
broke it. Oh, Jesus.
Mine? Well, I have the blades.
Oh,
I was gonna
for
say that.
God's sake. Yeah, let's do.
'Cause I have my-
Oh, you know where?
Where?
In
In the back?
Yeah, in my bag, there's a little cardboard thing, like a box, long box where I had my
With the
brushes.
brushes. Oh, is
Yeah.
it there? Okay.
Yeah, and
But
you-
mine is okay. It was okay like
and-
1 week ago.
Yeah, and can you maybe bring an X-Acto
Yes.
knife for me? Because this is like, yeah, this is the bad thing about maybe the Faber-Castells, or maybe it's a sharpener, or maybe I'm just complaining. But just sharpening a pencil with a sharpener, come on. They haven't invented good sharpeners, to be honest. They're called X-Acto knives. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just making some time while you get here.
And you had it like this, so I just brought it exactly.
Very nice. Look at that.
Con más lápices o te traigo el X-Acto?
No, just the X-Acto. So I use this like what is it called? Pencil holder maybe. Super cool. When your pencil is getting too small. That's what it's meant to do. And we'll sharpen it, and I'll show you. I mean, I got one whole class of sharpening my pencil. And we had charcoal pencils back then. And I'm going to show you what was taught to me this one time. Oh, I have one here. I just saw one.
I know.
Oh, but it's so tiny. No, we need. Yeah, I need to replace the blades on this one. Okay, so
Yes,
these.
huh?
No, I thought you were gonna bring the. Okay.
I have like 100 blades.
Yeah, yeah. Let me. Oof.
Is that?
Well, I'm much comfortable with a larger one, but let's
Is that?
use. Let me see. Let me see if we can use these.
Is that?
No, we can maybe use these.
Wait.
Well, no. No. Could you the white one that we use to for the boxes? Yeah.
Eso no es un exacto.
That's an exacta. That's a box cutter. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
That's a box cutter. I'm so sorry. Let me see if this one helps. This one works. No. Well, it kind of does. It's too small. No, these are. Yeah. Well, this one kind of works. Yeah. This is super exciting video right now.
Yeah. But you said exacto.
Yeah, it's my fault.
So-
Actually, you can keep it in there because maybe nothing works. Maybe nothing works, and I'm just gonna try my sharpener. I'm gonna try my sharpener while she does that. Look at this. It works so much better than hers. Look at that. Looks so much better. Fuck's sake. It broke it again. I don't know. So, well, I can't do this here. Let me see. Oh my god, this is like the worst video ever. Now I'm like putting this on my belly.
Now I
Okay.
I mean, I can help you. I don't know what you were
Let's see.
asking
Let's
for, like
see.
a
Let's see
super
if it
big
works.
blade.
Let's see if it works. Let's take this off of here.
I always use
And
my
maybe I'm
X-Actos
just
and
showing
it's
people
good.
how to sharpen a pencil, and they've sharpened 1,000 pencils all their, their whole lives, and they're like, okay, thank you for that.
Or
We know
maybe
how to
they're
do
like,
that.
you're actually doing it wrong.
No. This I endured this quite a lot. So what you're not supposed to
Es
do.
un poquito más arriba, toca.
So what you're not supposed to do is to do this as if you were peeling like a potato, like.
Well, you don't even peel a potato like that, but okay.
No, but potato peelers you can, not with knives, but potato peelers.
Or like carelessly.
Yeah, or like a carrot
it.
peeler. You can just go like,
Mhm.
away from your body, and you just hold the potato and you just go away from your body. That doesn't matter because you're peeling potatoes. Like if a huge chunk of potato comes out with a peel, like it doesn't matter. Who cares, right? But you don't want to do that with your pencil or with your charcoal. What's happening? This is terrible.
No.
And this thing is in my belly. I can
I
barely
was just
breathe.
like laughing of your elaborated example of the potato.
I know. And because obviously you see me peeling potatoes like
yeah,
every day.
Every day. Yeah, you're
So
a master.
anyways, how you're supposed
Potato
the way
peeler.
you're supposed to do this is you're supposed to push with this finger, like rotate it, but you're supposed to push with the finger.
That's how I use my X-Actos when I carve
My hands are sweaty.
wood.
Jesus Christ. You're supposed to push. Look at this. These leads are so. Is that what you call it? The lead? They're
Shavings?
so terrible. Yeah.
Too? I mean, they're wood too, so I would call them.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Nicolas, you're like doing like the exact motion I do when I carve.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's an invitation for you to carve it anytime you
I
want
have
to.
I have super sensitive hands.
Yeah.
So I know that
You should try some of my woods.
I don't know when the last time I
I don't know what
actually
it's been so satisfying. It's so
um
satisfying to see you sharpen that, but
yeah. And then the bad thing is I don't have the little sandpaper thingy that you can use to like when you get it. My hands are so sweaty, and this is like this is so terrible. I'm suffering through this. Like this is the most nervous I've been in like all
Why?
the videos. I don't know. Like look,
yeah, no, and your hands never sweat,
never.
which is weird.
It's because of the potato reference. Okay, this is better. Like I couldn't grip the pencil. So anyways, that's how you do it. You very, very gently like push your knife upwards, and then you can control, really well, like how much you're taking off. And yeah.
This is like an ASMR video
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're gonna get
Oh,
fed
I
as,
wonder if
Oh yeah. So let's be quiet. Wait. I want to see with the headphones. Wait.
to see with the headphones.
To
You tripping?
No, silence. I'm gonna lower your
Expectations?
No, so don't talk because I'm gonna lower your mic volume.
No, you should make the gain higher.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So what?
I call it the volume, so just silence. Nicolas, really.
Now I'm gonna do what
No,
you're
no, no,
not
don't
supposed to
talk,
do.
Nicolas. I told you because.
Yeah, but this part is the one that you're supposed to do with the little
Okay.
um.
I think that was like ear rape in the worst. Yeah, that was like so loud when you were talking, so sorry everyone. But it was sounding like super ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. So, anyways, that's terrible. I did a bad job there, but and that's how you
Sharpen
a
a pencil. Yeah.
No,
Thank
this
you
is
so
terrible.
much.
This is
Thank
terrible.
you so much.
Yeah.
For this
Watch how
lesson.
my lead is gonna break like immediately.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Hopefully, how was that for people?
I want
Is
to
it
know.
the is it the most exciting?
So Arson Art was saying ASMR and talk like Bob Ross. So
Come here, you little rascal.
I think we've been into the live stream an hour and 16 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think
We lost everyone now.
no, we have to say hi.
No, well, not.
It's like time to say hi.
I mean, we haven't. So.
Noel C dice, necesitamos un live de Nicolás pelando una pava para comparar.
Sí.
Sí, toca. Este va a ser nuestro segundo TikTok. A ver. So let's say hi.
Yes.
Margo Delgado dice hola.
Hola,
Margo. Qué
Margo.
bueno tener a Margo de vuelta. Ayer aprendimos sobre el salpicón de Canarias.
Sí.
No confundirse con el salpicón colombiano, que es
Nunca,
un
por
jugo
favor.
con recado. No sé.
¿Qué?
Pues un jugo con chunks de fruta, pero no sabía cómo decirle.
No
Jugo
así.
con recado. Con recado, como con
No, no así.
consistencia.
No, mi amor, no.
Javi Hab was saying hello, hello. Hola, hola. Hey, Javi.
Well, you're saying, hey, this happened like
Yeah, maybe they're not here.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, Veliko
Wait.
Duric was saying, hey guys, how are you doing? We're doing
We're
great.
good?
Yeah, we're doing great. Today, I have to say, I had a coffee in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I bought it yesterday. I bought like a cold brew. Because I was being super sleepy because of the jet lag, I
sharpening?
think. Yeah. Potato peeling.
Yeah.
And I think it helped.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Because yesterday I was having like terrible headache. And I was like super sleepy. But I'm good now.
By the
Maybe
way-
that helped,
by the
or
way,
your potato
For
talking.
every teacher that has told my daughter that holding the pencil like this is stupid,
Nicolas, no.
I was going to do
Don't
a
finish
little
it.
dragon.
Mhm.
A little dragon that spits,
It doesn't even look like a dragon.
well, it's my bad drawing, but it's an old little dragon
Mm-hmm.
that's flying. Look.
Mm-hmm. Nicolas.
What? I wasn't, what?
Yeah. What?
I
That
don't know
was
why I
like
gave him
a-
like hooves. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. It's like a pterodactylo. How do you call it?
Pterodactyl?
Pterodactyl. Dragon.
Yeah. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So for every teacher that has told Fer that
That's not.
oh my god, I broke it.
Nicolas.
Jesus
and in
Christ.
the dragon, I mean.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so terrible. I'm sorry about the reaction. That was a little too much.
Now you need
Now we need
potato
to,
peeler
sharpen it
to-
again.
Yeah.
No, I'm sharpening this again.
You could do like just the tip of it.
See, the teachers, the spirit of the teachers are like, well, if you were holding your pencil properly,
Yeah.
you wouldn't apply so much pressure on it that it wouldn't break like that.
I mean, they're right, but okay.
So,
Because I
suck
grab
it,
my
Nicolas.
pencil super bad too.
What?
My grip of the pencil is not good. But I think that it makes sense that they try to make people grab it in a way that it doesn't hurt your hand, because mine hurts so bad.
Yeah, I have to say,
Yours too.
yes, my hand cramps up like crazy because
Yeah.
of that grip.
I have something weird, and is that I grab it like this. So I write. I've heard a lot that I write like left-handed, but I'm a right-handed.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah, because I grab it and I do like this, and
You
this
do
is
this.
the way exactly. No, well, not like that, but yeah,
No, worse.
I do like that. And I do something weird, and is that I have this chunk of my thumb out, and when I write, it moves in the way of the letters I'm doing, or like if I'm drawing, it goes like it emulates the shape that I'm doing. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell? What are
This
you
is
talking
like-
about?
The worst live stream.
Yeah, we forgot how to do these.
We just need to interact with people. Nicolas.
2 weeks gone, and
Yeah. They're
Oh.
like, who are they?
yeah.
Why are they being so like
That's
weird?
why you have 20,000 subscribers.
Now we
Thank
have
you.
30.
We got to 30.
We have to 30. We got to 30.
Wow. So
Yeah. Now
70
we're like
away
proper.
from Fer's dream.
Proper YouTubers.
Well.
30,147.
Oh, dude, that's actually a big jump.
Yeah.
From, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So maybe if you haven't subscribed and you liked the content of how to sharpen a pencil, not like a potato.
Not like a potato.
Yeah. If
No,
you
no.
like our conversations, which I think we had cool conversations at the beginning.
Oh yeah, not anymore.
So no. Now it's going downhill.
Always.
But you could consider subscribing, which would be very cool. Because maybe one day,
One
in
day.
10 years,
When
we
there's no
could
YouTube.
have the plague?
Yes.
For Fer. Placa
I don't know.
for Fer.
Yeah.
So she can be, I was going to say a happy kid, but
A happy
in 10
professional.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A happy neurosurgeon.
Yeah, she's going to be like, Dad, I didn't even remember I cared
Dad,
about
what is
that.
YouTube?
Yeah. What, Dad? No.
You're so lame, Dad.
That's like so out now, Dad. It's like shameful, Nicolas.
Yeah.
Please. So yeah, if you want, you can subscribe. That would be super cool. And hit the bell to know that we're gonna go live. And check out our Instagrams.
Oh my God. Now you're begging.
And comment.
now you're
And let us know that
now
you're
you're
here.
begging for comments. Oh
and
God.
yeah, that
Yeah,
you
that's
enjoy being here with us. Because we really enjoy being here with
Oh
you
my
guys.
God.
But
Now
okay.
it's like you're laying
let's
it
keep saying
super
hi.
thick.
So Sofia Centurion was saying
La
hi.
Sophie.
Hola Sophie, ¿cómo estás? Robin West was
Who is
saying
that?
hello and a happy face. Hey Robin, how are you? I have to say thank you, Robin. I've been loving the turtle content you're sending me to my Instagram. It like really brightens my days. I love to see like cute turtles. Alejandra Ardila
So everyone, please bombard Danny's DMs with cute turtles. Thank you.
or dogs or funny videos. I love to see funny videos
Or a dog riding on top of a turtle.
and falling down. No, but the dog no.
What?
Cuz
They're going to be okay. I think they
Yeah.
can take a fall from a turtle.
yeah. Well, it depends what kind of turtle.
No, I think
And
it
what
doesn't
size
matter.
of a puppy. No, because if you have like a humongous Galapagos turtle,
Okay, that's
tortoise,
yeah.
I'm sorry,
How tall is that?
and a
That's like
Chihuahua
nothing.
puppy,
It can take that fall. It's a dog.
I don't know.
I think it can.
Alejandra
I think it
Ardila dice, hola Dani y Nicolás.
can. ¿Qué hubo, Alejandra?
Hola Alejandra, ¿cómo estás? Noel C. dice, saludos a ambos. Y dice, pintar imágenes donde no hay una luz directa y sombras marcadas, como la referencia de hoy, siempre se me hace complicadísimo. Espero aprender mucho de este ejercicio.
Uy, presión. Pressure.
Sí, pero no lo dijimos en español,
Mm,
pero decidiste
Sí.
mientras hacías el dibujo, porque hace rato ya no hacías como un dibujo, como un underdrawing, ¿cómo se dice eso?
No, no sé.
Como un dibujo abajo,
Previo.
un
Sí.
dibujo previo. Decidiste
Sí.
que esta sesión
Mm,
va a ser una sesión de
mm.
pintura donde vas a hacer el dibujo para la futura pintura. Entonces el video se va a dividir en distintas sesiones,
Como hicimos el primer video
como
de
hicimos
Our
el
Painted
primer
Lives.
video, exacto. Que había la sesión del dibujo, la sesión del underpainting y la sesión de pintura.
Uy,
No sé si vayan a ser los tres para este,
de
pero
pronto.
puede ser uno, pueden ser dos, pueden ser tres, pueden ser seis,
Tampoco, no creo.
3, 4, 5.
No, no creo.
Pero,
No lo no, estás ya sobrevendiéndolo.
pero sí, entonces quería decir eso también en inglés para que la gente sepa que este es la parte 1. Javier Ugarte Espinosa dice, hola a todos, ¿qué paleta usarás para esta linda foto?
Había puesto estos colores, pues no los voy a quitar, los dejaremos para mañana si los podemos empezar a usar mañana y si
Ujú.
no pasado mañana. Pero es blanco de titanio, amarillo
Bismuto,
bismuto,
ocre,
ocre, amarillo ocre, rojo
cadmio,
cadmio,
alizarín.
alizarín.
¿Sigo yo?
Pues
Ivory
tú,
Black.
pues todos los
No,
estás
ya
diciendo.
sigue ya. Cuéntame.
No, ahí. Este es, no, es que ahí estaba el negro abajo, el negro marfil, pero no, este es tierra de sombra
Umber,
natural
sí,
y azul ultramar.
ultramarino.
Sí,
Ah, sí. Incluso yo pensé, o sea, desde acá, desde la cámara,
sí.
se ve como negro y yo dije,
Sí, es que es negro
sacamos.
abajo.
Sí, no, pero pensé que habías quitado el tierra
Ujú.
e ibas a tener era un negro.
No,
Pensé que no ibas a tener, o sea, que el único tierra que ibas a tener era el ocre,
no.
pero no.
Pero
No.
no. No, Daniela.
Sí.
No.
Liad was saying hello.
Hey,
Hey, Liad, how are you? Rosalind was saying hello, friends. Hey,
Oh.
Rosalind. I have to say also, because my Rose always have my back. And Rosalind also sent me super cool content to my Instagram.
Yeah.
She shared a t-shirt that I hope she's wearing right now.
Okay.
It's Patrick Star
Oh,
riding
very
a
nice.
whale.
Riding a whale?
Yeah, it's
It's very cool.
so good. So thank you to my two Roros for thinking about me with things they see in their daily lives. It really
Oh my
makes me
God,
super
stretching it,
happy.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just, maybe it was the coffee.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have.
No, that's the last coffee for you.
Yeah. Or maybe I should. I mean, I feel happy today
Mm,
and talkative.
mm. While you choke over there.
Well,
Your
joke.
body's like, nope.
Yeah, shut up. Sergio Beltrán dice saludos desde el taller de Harold. Hola Sergio, ¿cómo estás?
Y saludos a Harold, supongo, por si están desde el taller de Harold.
Sí, saludos a Harold y a la gente en el taller de Harold.
Sí,
¿Qué están haciendo? ¿Qué está haciendo Sergio en el taller de Harold? Quiero saber.
pues lo que Harold diga, porque ¿qué más?
No, de pronto es el taller de Harold, pero no está Harold en este momento. Se lo prestó a Sergio. Julián Rodríguez dice, buenos días, espero que anden bien, agarrando el directo desde temprano. O sea, dijo esto hace 1 hora y media.
No, lo perdimos.
Sí.
Sí, chao.
Tani was saying, hey guys, I'm back at it again with the watercolor paintings.
Uf.
Also, thank you for the advice yesterday. No, happy to have you here, Tani, and happy that you are trying watercolor paintings again. Nikki Brooks was saying, hi guys, so happy to see you back, and I hope your trip was amazing. Excited to see where this one goes.
Oh, downhill.
No, so again, this is going to be part 1 of the painting. So this is going to be the underdrawing. And then we're going to have a different session with maybe underpainting and painting or only painting. So the best way to know it is to
Check the video out next week.
Ring the bell to
Oh,
know
right,
when the video is going to go live. Marcelo Peralta was saying, hi, everyone.
Hey, Marcelo.
Oh, nice reference today. I just spent a week on a family wedding trip, taking pictures that I plan to use as reference now that I'm back.
Oh.
Bring on the trip-inspired paintings and a happy smiley face. Happy smiley face and a smiley face.
Well, happy smiley face.
Pando,
Mm-hmm.
2130,
Yeah.
was saying, hello, what do you think about the work of the artist Neo Rauch? Rauch? I don't never.
I think it's Rauch.
Yeah.
Um,
And painting from the imagination. And they were also saying, why is it important for an artist to have a style? What's the difference between having influences and having a style?
oof.
Great work. Thanks.
Ooh, so loaded questions there.
So first,
Yeah, Neo Rauch.
yeah, and painting from imagination.
I had a conversation with Shella Horvitz.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Shella or Sheila? I
You're
forget.
asking the wrong person.
No, I'm asking my brain if it remembers. So maybe if I misremember Shella, I'm very sorry. I'm gonna go with Shella. Yeah, we had a conversation. She's a super, crazy good painter. Very, very good painter. If you don't follow her, please follow her. And we were having a conversation about Neo Rauch because she's not super, fond of Rauch's paintings. I think maybe I see them with rose tinted glasses because I don't know if I separate. Maybe I separate the man from just what is happening in the images.
Mm-hmm.
Like perhaps I'm a little, more drawn to the kind of pseudo narrative aspect of it, which I find like very, it to me that's like heavy pulpy illustration. It looks like what if the world after some nuclear apocalypse, what happens with this new kind of genetically damaged world. How is it configured? That's how I always see his paintings, and it looks like a very 1960s view of the future. So I don't know. What if Buck Rogers did acid or something like that? It to me in my brain, it's like super super cool to imagine like the planet that he's describing, the society that he's describing. So it's almost, I almost feel like it's a sort of painting that hands me something and I have to go and run with it. I'm willing to just play with it. So perhaps I'm not too. Perhaps I falter at not, going in with enough depth into what is inside those paintings and his works, which Shella does, and she is in the end far more critical than I am. And when reading what she describes, like I can totally understand where she's coming from. I do, however, and I think we sort of agreed that we were, it's not something that we're gonna fight. Like I would not die on that hill defending somebody like Neo Rauch. To be honest, I'm totally fine just admitting that, okay, you like it, you don't like it, and I like it a bit more, and then that's it. Honestly, it's just that, and I turn the page. I don't think that's where my idea of the defense of painting lies in. I really don't. I don't think he's exemplary of that. I do, however, feel that perhaps perhaps it was a choice that was driven by commerce, by the art market. the fact that they took all those Leipzig students and they, or Leipzig alumni, and they focused in on them on like the early 2000s, not early 2000s, yeah, maybe mid 2000s, better, mid 2000s, and they were sort of branded as the people that were resurrecting painting, because I have to say that painting started to have like a different character after the art world suddenly decided that no, painting could be exciting again and could have this, narrative value. So I don't think they're single-handedly responsible. The Leipzig, collective was single-handedly responsible for doing that, but they certainly helped, I feel, in a weird way. So maybe I think of Rauch as part of that, maybe, and maybe that's why I choose to impart some of the paintings with a relevance that I don't know if they have, but maybe they do in my brain. Having said that, like I said, I think he's a very cool painter. I mean, I think he's a cool painter in the sense that I enjoy the worlds he creates in the same way that I enjoy much more the worlds that Ruprecht von Kaufmann creates, but it's kind of like the same vibe. I just love these worlds. They feel kind of plausible, if that makes sense to me. This chemical apocalypse where, people were drinking these like radioactive things and suddenly, this happened. Like this is the society that comes from these empty barrels now that seeped into the rivers or something like that. It's like the equivalent of the Springfield fish. The is it 3 eyes or 1 eye that the fish has?
3. No,
I think I was going to say 3 eyes or 1 eye, so whatever. If I say that, it's the Springfield fish.
Oh, 3. Yeah, 3. No, but then there's more. Yeah, because that's the one I remember at the end.
Yeah.
That it's like 4, 6, 8, whatever.
But let's say 3. I think 3 is like the quintessential Springfield
fish. Atomic fish.
Yeah, atomic fish. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I think that Neo Rauch is that fish. And I think, you could just be, I think you have the right to look at those paintings superficially. Now, superficially. Oh my God. Yeah, now, are they the coolest paintings ever? I don't know. Maybe you like it, or maybe you like his sculpture. He's a pretty good sculptor too. I think there's more exciting painting, but I do think that there's value to what he does for sure. I think we spoke about him that time that I painted him.
I think you did.
Yeah. Because also in my brain, I was trying to figure out how I feel about his work. And I think I do like it. I think I would fall on the side of, yes, I do like it. I think it's cool. Whenever I have this response of saying like, oh, this is cool. I know that my brain is like super simple. I have like 2 brain cells. But whenever I feel, oh, this is cool, like this is a rad painting, I think I'm a simpleton. Like I can be happy with that. I can be totally happy with that. But I think I would, there's far more relevant painting, in my life. I would also say that for sure. Even though I enjoy him as a contemporary painter, even though I feel he has a place in contemporary painting, in my brain, it would never hold the same spot as I feel for Dickinson. I know Dickinson is not a contemporary painter, but for Ruprecht von Kaufmann, Ruprecht's work for me, I don't know, it's just different. It really does feel different. So I would die on that hill 100 out of 100 days defending his work, Ruprecht's work. I don't know if I would do that for Neo Rauch's work. Although I don't know if, Ruprecht would be if it wasn't for Neo Rauch. So that's also a weird thing there. Mm-hmm. Anyways, yeah. That's how I feel. And then second part of that tough question.
So it says, Why is it important for an artist to have a style? What is the difference between having influences and having a style? Great work.
Oof.
Thanks.
Why is it important to have a style? So I don't think it's important to have a style. You know, your search should never be to have a style. I think that's garbage, because I think styles can be copied. You know, if it was about having a distinct way of painting something, let's stick to painting on this. If it was about just having this very distinct way of painting something, well, anyone can copy anyone's style. Trust me, like illustrators have to do that constantly. They have to solve something in somebody else's style. And it doesn't, it never relies upon that. I was always fascinated by how James Jean, he decided at one point, I don't know if he does this anymore, but I'm sure he would. I mean, he's enormous now, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind it at all. I forget exactly what image this was. I think it was like, there was like a mall, or there was like a big space, I remember, full of like kids or something. I don't know. Trying to remember. It wasn't one of his like schoolyard illustrations, or maybe it was something like that. Maybe somebody who's a very big James fan can help me out here. But I remember many years ago, we're talking like probably 10, 12, 14 years ago, he did a Photoshop image that he put in his webpage, and he said, hey, I'm going to leave this here for however long, and you can download all the layers, everything. You can see exactly how I make my images. Exactly. You can just download the PSD file and just go nuts with all these layers. And that was super cool, because people don't do that. People do that now with patrons and stuff. I know Craig Mullins has a patron now, and he does that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tier where he lets people download his PSD files. Yeah. So, but back then this was very cool, because James was like blowing up. And, he was one of those, because he started with comic books, and then, he's bigger, and he was illustrating, and now he's just like an enormous artist. But, it was super easy to see an art director say, oh, could you do this in James Jean style? Or could you do this in Tomer Hanukkah style? Like that's super normal in the illustration world. And a flexible enough artist has to say, okay, I can kind of do a James Jean thing. I can kind of do a Tomer thing. And they understand it as part of the job. Now, it sounds like, yeah, but that's just an illustrator. That's like a lower tier illustrator that has to copy somebody else's style. Well, you'd be surprised how many times like they want to tell you, okay, can you do you, but maybe with a little bit of this? And they like sprinkle some of this other artist there.
Oh, and I don't think that's easy at all. Because, I mean...
No, that's not easy.
If someone told me, like, just try to do this image in James Jean style, I would be like, I can't.
Yeah, just hire James Jean.
I can't do
like
James Jean. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Come on, don't be...
I can't.
Just give him the damn job.
I think it's super hard to be that versatile and to understand and like know your way so good with what you do.
Yeah.
That you can like
adjust it.
Yeah, like you can scan what other person does with their artwork, and you could like try to make that yours in what you're doing. I think that's super hard to.
Yeah, that's quite difficult.
Achieve.
But if you think about it, that's what a lot of illustrators had to do, and we were talking about that recently with some golden age illustrators that had, yes, they were coming from the same schooling, let's say, but a lot of them would just be similar because that's what the jobs would want, you know? And maybe they didn't have the money to pay for Dean Cornwell, and maybe they just wanted somebody who was painting in that style and was still very, very good. So I think when people talk about style, like in my brain, I always think of illustration or comic books and how those things can be, I mean, not like 100% replicated, But there are people that are good enough that can understand how other people work and say, okay, let me just try to follow this a little bit in this style. I'll give you an example. When James stopped doing the Fables covers, they hired Joao Ruas to keep doing those covers. And Joao had to work kind of in a James Jean style. And in comic books, they always want to do this because
it's like not to break
exactly
the
like,
narrative.
If you have if you have acquired this, like, you know, this all this like fandom, all these like people that are super like the writing and the storytelling and the art, and everything is perfect for them, you don't want to then throw an artist that looks nothing like what they liked. You know, they signed up for this like story because every one of those parts worked. So they try to make transitions, and comic book artists usually speak of how when they inherited, like, I don't know, if they suddenly were working on a Spider-Man project or a Daredevil project, like they had to look at the prior artist and say, okay, I kind of have to slowly, very slowly ease myself into this, because if I just say, hey, this is what I do, then people are going to be like, dude, this is horrible.
No, they
like,
can't connect to that.
Exactly. So for me, when I hear the word style, I think of those examples of people that have to transition into other manners of interpreting things because the work demands it to be so. But how people usually understand style, and I think it's a very, very superficial way of understanding what lies beneath this very shorthand idea of style. But what people usually understand it as is just, hey, how do I get to that place where my paintings look my own in the way that your paintings look like yours, in the way that if I say Phil Hale, everyone can spot a Phil Hale painting. If I say Ashley Wood, everyone can think, like, you immediately go, boom, Ashley Wood. That's an Ashley Wood drawing. I can spot an Ashley Wood drawing like from 2 blocks away. Like that's, or James Jean, like James's work is just so recognizable.
Kim Jung-gi.
Jung-gi's just drawings, even and even Super Annie, that has like so many artists now, that kind of work in a Kim Jung-gi manner. You can spot a Kim Jung-gi, like you know when it is Kim Jung-gi's drawing. So Karl Kapinski's drawing, you know when Karl's drawing. Like that's a Karl drawing. Ken Williams drawing, you know when Kent is drawing. So how do we get there? How do we do that? Which is very weird, because I don't think it has anything to do with drawing or painting. It's very strange when we talk about like styles, because I really don't think it has to do anything with that. I think you need like a couple of things. I think you need a relationship with your materials. So relationship with your tools, let's say, with your tools. And it has to be super, super, super strong. So whatever you use to make, your drawings, your paintings, your whatever it is that you're doing, your relationship with those tools has to be profound. I think that's super important.
And I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm just like, I want to add something.
Yeah.
That I think that it has to be strong, but also not inherited. I mean, it's not something that you saw somewhere else, and you're just like trying to understand it just because you saw that it worked in someone else's case.
Yeah.
I think that it has to be like an honest.
Yeah. So it's a relationship.
Exactly.
So you can't date someone else's tools. Yeah. Well, you could, but
no, you could, but you're creating like the bond with that. Because I mean,
kind of sleazy. If
you could say no. I mean,
no,
I love having a Zorn palette, and you could like create a really strong bond with that. But it has to be like an honest bond.
Yeah, but let's say there's so much more to Zorn than just thinking that he is 4 colors.
The palette,
which he, mostly isn't.
Yeah.
But yes, it's your relationship. So kind of going with what you were saying, Danny, it's a relationship. So this is a very personal thing, a personal connection that you have with your tools.
Mm-hmm.
A very, very personal connection. And it could be anything. It could be the way, for example, Faye Morehouse draws with the charcoal.
Yes.
You know, she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She's incredible with just a regular charcoal, or when she uses like tempera paints to paint.
Mm-hmm.
That's super sloppy, but it's like perfect.
Yeah.
It's like perfect.
Because again, it's honest. Because
Yeah.
I think that's like super important.
And those are her paints, and that's how she paints.
Yeah.
And that's how she understands how she paints.
yeah.
And she understands this
just
watery
natural to
paint
her.
and these like, you know, crappy brushes, but it's perfect for her. Like every one of those variables is perfect for her.
Or Tara Booth.
Tara Booth, exactly.
I mean, she takes like vinyls. How do you call that? Vinilos?
Yeah, like vinyl paint.
Vinyls, yeah.
Yeah.
And she just like puts the brush and just like moves the brush inside of it and just
Yeah,
and it just
it
makes
works.
sense
It works,
with her
yeah.
work.
Or like how Ashley uses calligraphic pens and
Exactly.
and markers.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, that the relationship with your tools has to be just so profound that you are like they are an extension of yourself. So that's let's call that the practical part of that equation.
Mhm.
Because if you notice, like that part has nothing to do with ability. Nothing. It's not about how good you are. It's not about how much schooling you had. Nothing. It has nothing to do with how strong your drawing is or how good or how bad. It like good or bad don't even enter in that conversation, because that's, you know, with people that are super talented, this relationship, you know, powers over the concept of ability.
Mhm.
Just, you know, it's amazing. Like he uses Play-Doh to make the portraits.
Wilfred Wood?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Wilfred Wood using Play-Doh to make
Yeah.
portraits. You know, we associate Play-Doh with you know, kids working in their, you know, when they're 3 or 4,
Yeah.
just, you know, messing all the colors up and
Yeah,
just,
I think about my cousin and Wilfred Wood.
yeah. And then Wilfred Wood
amazing.
says, "Oh no, I love using Play-Doh to make portraits. I love using plastiline to make portraits." And you see, when you see him using Play-Doh, you're like,
It makes sense.
hell yes.
Yeah.
Like that is incredible.
Yeah.
So relationship can actually trump over ability for sure. 100 out of 100 times, because there's, you know, there's so many people with tons of ability that are forgettable.
Mhm.
So many people that
Yeah.
you can see hundreds of paintings that are so good that that you only acknowledge the fact that they're good, and then when you walk out of a gallery, museum, or wherever you saw them, you forget them. You forget about them. And I think that the second thing about this is you have to know yourself well enough. Know yourself well enough. Oh God, this is too long. To be comfortable telling your own stories. So I think this is the part that takes the longest. So when we say know yourself well enough, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, "Oh, yeah, check please." Like that's a lifetime.
Yeah. And
A
it's like
lifetime.
an ongoing search.
Oh yeah,
It's
this
not
is
like
not
static.
This is not, yes, I found myself. I'm
Yeah.
done. No, this is your whole life. This is
Mhm.
the point. That's the point of what we do. To every single time, every single day that goes by, and with every single work that we do, to know that we are inching closer to that person, to feeling okay with the person that we are, that we have
Mhm.
chosen to be. To you know, to follow the beliefs that we have chosen, to honor them, to respect those beliefs, to not betray them for, you know, petty things. So that's like super important. to know, to know who you are.
Yeah.
But then that gives you, if you know yourself, that gives you like the courage to say, I'm going to be okay with me telling this story, with me sharing this story with other people. And I'm taking for granted that almost all art is about socializing. So there is an aspect of community, and there is an aspect of saying, hey, look at what I did. And it could be as easy as posting something on social media, or it can be as complex as just working for years, doing a documentary and then having this show where you have now hundreds of people looking at your work with like varying degrees of expectation. But there is this aspect of socializing. Is it absolutely necessary? No. And I'll give you an example. Henry Darger. Henry Darger. Henry Darger, did his illustrations, could you remind me? My brain is like faltering. The girls, what are the girls called? So just put Henry Darger girls, because I forget what their name is.
Girls?
Yeah.
Vivian girls.
The Vivian girls. Okay.
Yeah.
So his whole epic, the story of the Vivian girls, he wrote for himself. He illustrated and wrote for himself. He was a janitor. He had this little room, and it was only when he passed that people unearthed all these this universe he had created for himself. We have, sadly chosen to see him as an example of outsider/folk art. So we don't think like the same rules apply, which is kind of sad. But there was no socializing there. There was like a posteriori socialization of the work. But usually what you get is, your will to share. Because when you want to say something and you want to, when you feel that something is meaningful to you, it's not that you're going to be validated if people deem it to be meaningful, but you want to show people that it's meaningful to you. With very important things, you want to tell people that, this is important for me. Like, I think I talk about my kids so much because it's almost like my way of saying, I want you to know that my kids are that important to me in my life. It's like, I don't care what you're saying. And that's why people that usually have kids are like super annoying because, oh, okay, here we go. We're going to hear about the kids again. Oh my God, like shoot me. But it's a way of saying like, hey, this is what's important to me. When we speak about our relationship with, Danny's and my relationship, we speak about how crazy important it is to be honest with each other, to be super, super honest. Like, and we make it a point that we remind ourselves that is crucial for us.
Yes.
So you always kind of like double down on the things that are important. And sometimes those things that become super important for you, you want to voice them. You want to like say, hey, this is what I'm about. And if you recognize the things that you're about, and if you want to, find a way to tell a story, about those things, and it could be visually, it could be myriad of ways. It doesn't have to be painting or drawing. It can be so many ways that you can choose to say, how you feel about something. And when you find that there's so much kinship in your tools, that you're able to communicate how you feel about that story with your tools, that is ultimately what we have, again, in a very shorthanded way, decided to call style.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Style is not like, oh, you do large people.
No.
It's like, oh, or botero. Oh, you do fat people. Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, yeah, sure. Okay. If that's what you want to get from all of from like the whole exercise that's behind, sure. Yes. And it's sad because there's like all of this comes into this funnel, and we only see the tiny little drop that it's like this distilled idea that is the image, you know, whatever three-dimensional or projected or digital or physical image that we produce. But all we see is that, and then we think that this is like the most important object of all, and we tend to idolize that object, and we think that that's like that's where the answers lie in. But the truth is the answers lie like so much higher up that chain.
Yeah, because that drop is important because of all the things that went into the funnel, which I
Yes.
think it's important when, because the question that they were asking, Pando was asking, he was talking about the difference between having influences and having your own style. And I think we've talked about this a couple of times, of how when you try to emulate someone else's quote unquote style, you're not acknowledging all that funnel and all the things that went into it to create that little drop, but you're just trying to take that drop and make it yours.
Yeah.
So you're just like taking away all the process that was getting to that drop.
Yeah.
So,
And there's a lot of people that say, hey, but we all got to start somewhere. Come on. We can't just start from a vacuum. We have to start somewhere because we have to learn how to walk, and we need like these safety like nets and these like rails that can provide us with enough security so that we can learn how to do something. And I get it. Sure. Like education is I think that part goes hand in hand with education. But there are people that don't have that education that are able to find those things without really thinking, I need to look like X, Y, or Z.
And I think it's also good to think about a lot of different aspects and not only art influences. Because I think that sometimes when you say, hey, I want to create my own style, it's like you had like a board and you start like pinning artists that you love.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that to really get a quote unquote style, or to get to people to recognize your work and think that that's your work and no one else's work, I think that it has to be a mix between the things you like, but also the way you live, the people that surround you, the way like your emotions react to something more than the other thing. I think it's just, it doesn't make sense to take that drop from an artist and say, now it's gonna be mine. Because you don't react to life in the same way. You're not attracted to the same things that person is attracted to.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of things in common, yes, but you also have the things that make you you. And I think that that's what make that drop so unique, because it can't be copied. I mean, it can be copied, but it would be like an empty copy. It would never have like the substance of like the true drop.
I was thinking of Ben Bjorklund, Benjamin.
Yeah.
And you know, when Ben is painting his, you know, Great Danes, for example.
Yeah.
He's painting love. Like he is not painting, like he's not thinking, okay, I'm Swedish, you know, I'm going to try to paint these like Zornwood. Or because Ben didn't have schooling, like he's self-taught. So when he was painting Solomon, that was his Great Dane.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing but just this adoration for this animal. There's this love, and you can see how much he loves his dog, or he loved his dog by the way he painted his dog.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's painting. That's exactly what he's painting. That's exactly the story that he's telling. He's like saying, I'm going to show you how his kind of mouth droops down and how there's this little bit of skin there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you how his nose kind of curls and where the light touches his nose. Like that's what he was painting. He was just telling you, look, this is my dog.
Yeah,
Like
this is how I feel.
I love this
This is
dog.
the bond I
look at
created.
how he sleeps. Like, look at this. This is, and that's what he was painting. And you cannot teach anyone how to paint that.
Or you can't copy that.
You can't copy that. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Like learn
Copy
how to
the
love
emotions.
yeah, learn how to love a strange dog through a painting.
Yeah.
You kind of can't do that.
Yeah, because those paintings are so powerful because they're so honest that you can like feel that person, like the imprint of that person there.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it feels like Ben's voice
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Because he's like being so honest with the things he loves and the things he want to communicate. And that's why it's not just saying, oh, I love this way of doing marks or this way of brush strokes in my paintings. No.
It's like if when he would paint a frog
Mhm.
or like a bunny.
Yep.
You could just say like, "Oh my god, that's a cool like bunny."
Yeah.
Or, "Oh my god, look at that frog." Like, and there is this instinct that tells you, "Come on,
Paint a frog.
paint a bunny.
Yeah.
Paint the crap out of a bunny. Come on,
Yeah.
you could do it. You could do it."
Yeah.
Isn't
and
it
your
cool?
brain
Like,
tricks you because it's
yeah,
like,
and you're like,
oh, so the answer is a frog.
yeah, it's like, you know what? It's the bunnies. Like
Yeah.
bunnies are amazing. I want to paint the bunny.
Yeah,
a
that's
damn
the
bunny.
secret of painting like
That's
Benjamin.
the sauce. Yeah. And then you paint the bunny and you're like, what am I doing? Like this, I'm painting a stupid ass bunny. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like his, doesn't look like, and you know why it doesn't feel like his?
'Cause
Because
it's
you
not
don't give a crap
honest.
about bunnies.
Yeah.
And you don't give a crap about frogs. Like
'Cause it's
if you
not
look at a
honest to
frog, you're
you,
like,
yeah.
oh, the damn frog is inside again. Let me take it out. When he looks at a frog, he's like, you are the most fascinating creature in this universe.
Yeah. And maybe that
And
to
he's
you,
like, I'm going to paint it. I'm going to paint this
and maybe
frog.
that to you can be plastic
Any-
bags.
anything,
like
yeah.
Samantha Herring.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you
Samantha
could
Herring.
paint, you could paint bags,
Yeah.
but it would never be a bag like Samantha Herring paints bags.
Samantha does bubble wrap that makes me feel that it wasn't plastic's fault that we are killing Earth.
And again, I mean, you can
It is
still
so damn beautiful. It is so good how she does a damn bubble wrap that I'm like, I am gonna double bubble wrap my next, shipment. I don't care. Maybe with the hopes of Samantha one day picking that piece of bubble wrap and saying like, oh, there's a painting in here.
paint worthy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
but I was
joking
gonna
with
say that also. It doesn't mean that now
That plastic
Benjamin
is good.
painted a frog
yeah.
or a bunny and you can't paint it, because I think that can be a painting that means something to you because you can relate to the sentiment with the subject matter they're painting.
Yeah.
And I think that is okay because that's being honest. And as you were saying, it's not like someone painted something and they own that something. No. I mean, if you really search inside yourself and realize that you want to paint a frog because you love frogs with your life, and you just like see a frog and you feel like your day is like sunny out of a sudden just because you saw a frog, then paint a frog because it's honest to you. I mean, you've painted bags, plastic bags, and you're always like, no, but they're not like Samantha.
They're
Of
not.
course they're not, because they're your paintings.
Because she's cool.
And you were interested in painting that bag for very different specific reasons that she's interested in painting her bags. Because it doesn't mean that you have to have the same exact sentiment with that subject matter. Because again, your sensibility is super different
cool
and
as hers.
is always going to be different to someone else's sensibility. And I think that's what is like the essence, or what people try to encapsulate in the word style.
Yeah.
Like the honesty of what you're doing.
Yeah, but without all the energy that prompts, like without the spark that prompts you to say, I love this, whatever. Let's not call it. It does. We don't have to nominate it. Like it ends up being a plastic bag or a cardboard box or a bunny or a Great Dane. It ends up being anything. I mean, that the lesson is there. The lesson that is there is the one that tells you it can be anything. It could literally be anything,
Mhm.
anything. But the driving force to be attracted by it has to be true, because it has to power you through a painting. Like, it has to be it has to be enough fuel to get you through a painting. And trust me, paintings, as easy as they are, or as simple as they can be, if you're not attracted to what you're doing, it shows immediately.
Yeah.
If you don't care about what you're painting, you don't even have to tell me that you don't care. Like, your painting will do the job for you. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a complex question, so I don't think there's an easy answer. But hopefully we're giving...
well, the way
we're attempting
think
to
about
give
it
a
too.
good enough, answer to that question, which is very hard, very, very hard to solve, because there's no one way of solving
Yeah,
it or attempting
exactly.
to solve it. So
So I think we gave our thoughts on that, but I'm gonna read some like questions
yes,
and
please.
comments that were made around the beginning of
The video
we answering
3
these
hours ago?
questions. No. So Marcial was saying how I feel a style is like to me. It's like a signature on how you lay down your lines and paint. What's your thought on that? So I think we just like
Yeah, we kind of cover.
touched on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Briley Moreno was also saying, what if you don't like your own style? I've genuinely been trying to change mine, but I feel stuck in a certain zone. Not sure if I need to change my equipment / amount of medium I use / etc. in a rut. So I think it's also super cool because I haven't read this and you haven't read this because you can't see the screen. But
Yeah.
you were talking about the relationship you have with your tools, like a genuine relationship.
Yes.
And I think that if maybe you're thinking about adjusting there, it's maybe because that relationship is not the one that fits you correctly.
Yes.
I mean, maybe you're just using those tools because you've heard about them or you saw someone else using them.
Yeah, you kind of... What usually happens is that you inherit them from your teachers.
Exactly. And that's why I used that word when you were talking about tools, like not inheriting that relationship, because you have to build it in order for it to be a relationship, like an actual relationship. So
Yes.
Cravesen 54 dice, yo por ejemplo estoy intentando imitar la manera en la que se pintan los backgrounds de los animes de los 80s con la misma técnica y me pone contento ver que puedo hacer réplicas de Akira, por ejemplo.
Wash, pero...
Y una carita feliz.
No, pero se puso a hacer unas cosas...
Pero muy chévere. Y de nuevo, eso también es honesto. O sea,
Sí.
porque es que honesto no tiene que ser alejarse de todo, sino honesto tiene que ser... Yo siento que la honestidad es como saber cuál es la intención. Y si mi intención es como, no, es que yo quiero estudiar resto y tratar de entender cómo pinta James Jean, porque es que yo quiero que si alguien me pregunta, oiga, haga esto en el estilo de James Jean, yo lo haya estudiado lo suficiente como para poder acercarme a algo que se sienta parecido a, pues también es súper válido porque de nuevo es algo como genuino, es como un deseo genuino. So, Julius was saying, hi guys. Live Veiled Boys, so Ricardito dice, hola, los extrañaba chicos, ¿cómo están? Hola Ricardito también.
Ricardito.
Pero muy bien, muy bien. Felices de estar acá de nuevo. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the live stream when people were saying hi. Because we've been talking a lot. I like it. I like today's live stream. I like all the live streams. I always say I like them, but Jose Fail said, hey y'all, 108 degrees here, Fahrenheit. The conversion to Celsius is it's hot.
Yeah. It's don't go outside. Don't go
108.
outside. That's like 41, I feel. 42.
42.7.
Yeah.
No, that's too much.
I told you Vegas was
That's
hot.
too
Vegas
much.
is hot. Vegas can go up to 45.
Oh, that's crazy.
Vegas can go up to 120, I feel.
I wouldn't.
120, 125.
If
I'm
I
sure
had to-
historically.
I had to walk somewhere. I think I would like walk 2 steps, get in a store.
I've heard people
Two steps, store.
in Vegas that their shoes melt into the asphalt
No.
because it's so hot. Yeah.
Wow. You have to keep yourself very hydrated, Jose. Jorge Asable Alfa.
Mhm.
Muchas gracias. Dice, está guapísima esa chica. Muchas gracias. Yo
Esa
creo que es
chica
que no.
tiene nombre, por
Esa
favor.
chica se llama Daniela. Y
Sí.
el guapo es el que no solo le ven la mano.
¿Qué?
A ti.
¿Qué?
O sea, el que está dibujando.
El guapo es el que le ven la
Al
mano.
que no le ven la mano.
¿Qué fue eso?
Ahí estaba tratando de echarte un piropo, pero
No, me echaste
me
de la
sonó
casa,
raro.
más bien.
Catherine Kenny was saying, hi everyone, just popping in today for a few minutes. So I think Catherine's gone
Oh,
because
for
it was
sure.
at the beginning. We're about to get a bad storm here in Ontario. Super cool reference. It's 37 degrees here. Oh, Catherine. So I hope everything's good after the storm you're getting.
Maybe it gets less humid.
Yeah.
Or maybe it kind of cools down after that storm.
Yeah, but also keep hydrated, very hydrated, and keep Archie hydrated too. What is Wi-Fi? Was saying, hola, just curious if you would work with water mixable oil paints again. Thanks.
Yeah?
Oh, wait. And this is like the type of conversations people start having between each other, and we can read into those.
Okay.
So Liad said, what is Wi-Fi? Why are you interested in water mixable oils? And what is Wi-Fi said, Liad, I suppose mostly for the non-toxic aspect. Liad said, what is Wi-Fi? So the pigments are the main thing that is toxic, and they are the same between the two and all paint.
Very
The solvents, like terps, are toxic, but you don't have to use them.
Very true.
Also, you aren't supposed to use the water in the painting, but only for the cleanup with water mixable oils.
Very true. It's the terrible medium for the paint.
If you want to discuss this in the Discord, I'm happy to,
Mm-hmm.
happy to, and I'm sure
I'm happy to.
I'm happy, and I'm sure others will have good input. If you want to message me directly, you can do that too. If you don't use Discord.
Oh, very
And what,
generous.
What is
Liat.
Wi-Fi? Said yes. That was basically my concern in terms of the cleanup plus being beginning stages. For a while, I was pretty dependent on paint thinners, although I've started to cut down.
Yeah.
I want to know if it
what is
was a
Wi-Fi?
viable option. Yeah, sure. Should I join the server or message you directly? So thank you, Liat.
Yeah,
That
very
was a
cool.
very-
Liat. Thank you.
yeah.
Very generous with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I think I agree with everything Liad was saying there. We just did a whole workshop where some people were using their solvent just at the end to clean up. But I tried to, not convince, but I tried to show people at least that there is a ton of painting that can be done that is solvent free. And it was very cool to do the whole workshop without solvents.
Yeah, and people were up to trying it.
People are fine.
Because again, I think it's very cool that you tell them try it. Just use this week to try it if you want to. And if you hate it, you can go back to your studio and paint the way you're used to, but just give it a try.
Yeah.
'Cause
And I always use the word minimize. So maybe you don't have to take it out of your practice, but maybe you can start using less of it.
Exactly. Belts was saying, sorry, who was the name of the Francisco painter in El Prado? Francisco Pradilla.
Yes.
So it's easy to remember. Prado, Pradilla.
Oh, very
So-
mnemonic.
Yeah, Francisco Pradilla in Museo del Prado.
Okay, I think he got it.
Prado, Pradilla.
Oh, okay,
so.
let's over-explain.
Let's see. Cosette Pineda, la joven Cosette nos dice hola. Hola, Cosette. ¿Cómo estás? Olga Maria Benninghoff, so
¿Quién es
your
esa
mom,
persona? Oh, my
was
mother.
saying, hi, Nicolas and Danny. It's going to be a wonderful painting.
Hopefully. Thank you, Olgita Divine.
Panacotic was saying, The work of Claude Lévi-Strauss is filled with the reverse description of how indigenous tribes approached art, body painting, etc. Also, when we were talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
yeah, I think in a lot of these societies, it had a very different role than what it has in European society, like not representational, but rather part of a social ritual. There is also an account in Levi Strauss of tribes where the quote unquote chief would have dreams that had important signification, and when the European settlers came, they said that they stopped dreaming. I assume that the same could happen for their art.
Wow.
The same account about the tribes who stopped dreaming is reproduced in Jung too. Jung?
Jung, yeah.
A big part of the book's quote unquote structural anthropology and Triste Tropique have accounts of the report that South American native tribes had to what we could call art. Yeah, and when we were talking about that, I was thinking, because I had a class. I don't know why my memory is so bad, but I had a class that was called Arte Colonial,
Mm-hmm.
so colonial art. And I remember, I mean, I have to look for the notebook, but I was trying to remember. And my brain went to the capoeira,
Okay.
because in capoeira, I know you know the origin of it, but it was like African slaves that were brought to Brazil, and they were trying to make them not do their rituals. So they didn't have like the fights. So if I'm mistaken, maybe you can correct me, but I'm trying to remember as I go. And they invented capoeira to be faithful to their culture and what they did, what they used to do, but trying to adjust it so that the people that were enslaving them couldn't restrict it, because they were like, no, it's not allowed, period. So I think that that should happen in other manifestations of art, not only with dances or with rituals or with music, but also in art. Maybe they like find a way, which is super sad, to like kind of sneak the little meanings they want to inside of that quote unquote appropriate art form that Spaniards were teaching, for example, Colombian indigenous people.
Yeah, but that's like them adjusting to what was imposed on them,
Yeah.
right? But what I was asking is if we know how it impacted them and how they like how they understood what was being shown to them as, you know, as the proper religion, as the proper music, as the proper art, as the proper way to speak.
So you're like interested in
like what
like
did it sound
maybe if
like?
there's like a recollection of files of how people.
Yeah, it would have to come from indigenous like people. It would have to be them wanting to recount this experience and saying, I want to leave this written down saying, or maybe it passed on as just a spoken word,
Yeah.
but that the way they saw painting was such, you know, the way they when painting was introduced to them,
Yeah,
they
like the
felt,
reaction.
yeah,
to it.
I don't know if that probably like you were just mentioning like in anthropology, I'm sure there has to be accounts of that, but you very rarely hear this. You hear of the other way. You hear of Gauguin
Yeah.
going to Tahiti and, you know, saying, oh, this world is so marvelous, and, you know, this is, look at the colors, look at the people,
Look at the girls.
look at the little girls.
Yeah.
And I as a Eurocentric,
I'm gonna conquer you
person
girls.
that believes that the world is my oyster, I am going to come here and paint and then show, you know, the people back home, you know, the fascination that that lies, you know, in these isles. And that's what Orientalists did also. And that's why rich people were fascinated with those little Orientalist paintings because they were like, oh my God, look at this, look how these savages live. But it's look how these savages live through the lens of incredible painters. Mariano Fortuny had, this part of what he did was like Orientalist painting, and he was incredibly successful at doing those. There's tons of Spanish painters that were so good, so good, but we have to remind ourselves that they were so good, but they were just going there, and the lens through which they were looking at other people's lives was that of somebody who felt more civilized,
more powerful.
And who felt that through painting they could create this, little pastiche that would feel so so exotic, so otherworldly that people would pay, whatever for having like a representation of that. In France, Japanese prints were a sign of being a wealthy collector, and that's why they eventually end up influencing like music in Debussy or a ton of painting in Monet and Van Gogh. So there's there is that part that it's like, yes, like we understand how we saw it. We as Westerners were like, oh, look at this. Look at these savages. Like, oh, this is so incredible. Let me paint them, or let me paint these weird like customs that they have. But this is probably, I'm super ignorant here, but I very rarely hear how they felt when they saw music, when they heard what was for them, like it had to. Could you imagine them hearing like Baroque music for the first time? They understood like percussion, and how most of the roots of our music are, which is most of it is like percussion and like done with seeds and just trees and skins. But could you imagine if somebody said, no, this is a harpsichord, no, this is a lute?
Yeah.
Like I wonder, and what I wonder also is that if music and painting or art can be so fascinating, can be so universal, that even if it's not your culture, even if it's not your history, if they were capable of separating the violence that was being imposed on them and saying that is beautiful, and saying like, oh my God, that is like, could you imagine the first time like a tribe heard Bach? Like what, how did that feel? But to them, and I'm not saying like, oh, we're going to educate your ears, because that's what we hear. That's everything that we've been taught.
Because I think it also went to both sides.
Yes, eventually. Yeah,
because I'm not trying to make them feel as if they were in the same level.
No, eventually. Not. Like,
but I'm saying
the Japanese play salsa now and jazz.
Yeah, no. But I was trying to say, like, the first time the people, like the conquerors.
Oh, I'm guessing the hierarchy of that was such that when they heard the music, they felt like they had to probably destroy every bit of culture, every sign of what they were doing that was relevant to their story. They had to obliterate. They had to, kill the gods that they believed in. They had to kill their language, kill everything. Every bit of belief that they had was threatening to them. If they were ever going to expand their empires, like expanding an empire meant, you are going to be one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I always wonder, like, how was that received? Like, I always hear the simple stories of when they saw these armored people riding on horses, they felt that it was one beast. Mm-hmm. Like they felt it was like a centaur.
A creature.
Yeah, like man and horse were one.
Mm-hmm.
But stuff like that, like I wish we had that bit of a story. Like we had that voice saying, when we heard Bach for the first time, this is how it felt like. Or when we saw a portrait painting, this is what we felt like. It would be fascinating. I don't know if there is enough written about that, but because nobody would care like to write about those things. I'm guessing like,
Well, we would only have one side
yeah,
of the
and we
story,
do.
which is
But and those stories would only survive because the stories, the spoken word would pass it through generations. But aside from that, I can't see how any of this would be. We would have record of any of this, anything. And it would be awesome with every single time an empire took over another empire. You know, the Egyptian rule over Assyrians, and then Roman rule, Greek rule over the Egyptians, and then Roman rule over the Greeks. It would be amazing to just see how those transitions work. But not from the side that was winning, but from the side that was suddenly losing everything. It's fascinating. Anyways, so I think I don't want to take this like super. I think it's honestly it's way too much information right now as it is. Don't want to take it super far. But it's time to apply at least one coat of the transparent acrylic binder. So
wow. I think this is like
very exciting. First time we do it on camera, I feel.
Yeah.
I hope I remember.
What now to put?
Yeah, I hope it's not as not as horrible as when I tried to sharpen a pencil.
Yeah, and you were teaching how to.
I have to go back to learning how to.
Yeah. Or maybe the right way is as you would peel a potato.
No, I know. No.
Maybe.
No. That is the one way that it's not right. That I can tell you.
So Belts was saying... Oh. I'm sorry.
Belts was saying, I'm sorry?
No. I just...
It's okay, Belts.
No, I clicked out of the chat.
I forgive
Belts
you, Belts
was saying, sorry, which was the name of the artist that did the ceiling you mentioned? So Pietro da Cortona.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At the Palazzo Barberini.
And I'm the one that exaggerates accent.
But mine sounds better when I do it.
No, you always think you sound better.
I think I always know.
When you don't. Robin was saying to keep and maintain their rituals and ways until the last minute, and then he just filled them all in. How do you recognize another group's beliefs and then streamroll it once it impedes your own? Wealth and gain? Guess it's an eternal question. But those things are lost. It's so sad.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I'm reading comments from like 2 hours ago.
I know.
So I'm sorry if it sounds like out of
a little disjointed,
time.
But
yeah. Because before, I mean, when you were just like starting, Nathan said, off to a great start. Always love your comments, stories, and examples. Javi Hab was saying, I was about to say an hour in. So an hour in, and now we're 2 hours and a half in. And still no brush in hand. That might be a first, I believe. Great reference photo, by the way. Luca Guadaño dice, hola, ¿cómo andan? Extrañé su compañía mientras pinto.
Lo mismo, Guadaño.
Sí, ¿qué está pintando Luca? Cody Winicky.
¿Y Luca alguna vez ha sentido las ganas de pintar
una guadaña?
¿Una guadaña? Sí, no, la muerte con una guadaña.
Sabía que ibas a ir hacia allá.
Pues, pero si uno se llama Guadaño, pues...
O que esa sea la firma. Ese sería el tag, sí. Un tag chévere. Guadaño.
Sí.
Cody Winicky was saying, I have a KUM sharpener that I really like, but only for graphite, really. Anything softer, I use a box cutter and sandpaper. We sharpen the same way, haha.
The proper way.
And does yours also break, Cody?
Oh, stop it.
The artsy nurse was saying hello, everybody. Hey, the artsy nurse, how are you? Darko B was saying, hey, guys. Hey, Darko. I'm seeing comments about the ASMR. So think about how long ago people were commenting this. Ana María López Pérez dice, hola Nico y Daniela. Hola Ana María.
López
¿Cómo
Pérez.
estás? Emily Hughes was saying, hello everyone. This drawing is looking beautiful, Nicolas. I love this reference of Danny. Thank you. My safari portrait. No, it's not all me.
Well, okay, you and a sheet behind you.
No, I mean the cool part of it is the drawing.
No, the drawing wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, but the video wouldn't exist if it wasn't for your drawing. So
I think we could be here like talking.
But we wouldn't be showing the picture you took.
I would have to sharpen a lot of pencils while we talk.
Yeah. Cody Winnicky was saying, ha 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 ha, that was classic. Sorry to laugh at your misery breaking the tip. I just know that pain. Darko B was saying, you can use the sharpener with the handle that sharpens with long leads. Will save time and effort. Marciel was saying, it's 11 at night here now, but I'm here. Hi, you too. Hey, Marciel. Veliko Duric was saying, hey guys, how was Italy? It was great. It was really great. Yeah.
Nice, Danny.
A lot of gelato, a lot of art, a lot of walking. We were just seeing, I was showing Nicolas my phone. Like, it has like the app that counts the steps you make.
Yeah.
And the day before we traveled back home, we went to the Vatican Museum and then we went inside the Colosseum. So it was like we walked a lot, I mean. And I was looking at that and we walked 26,000 steps. Like more than 26. Let's read the whole number. It says 26,476 steps.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
About 20 kilometers, I feel.
Crazy.
That's a good day.
Crazy, I mean.
Oh, that's a good day.
That's a lot, Nicolas.
We're going to make up for it here. We walked nothing close to that.
Sitting here, yeah, talking here.
Yeah.
So, Elaine Shukri was saying, good morning, welcome back. Hey, Elaine. Thank you. Happy to have you here. And thank you also for the comment yesterday in the video. Because Elaine was saying that she was really happy that we're back.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
Margo Delgado dice, ayer no pude verlos, qué pena perderme la conversación sobre el salpicón. Sí, Margo, ayer incluso dijimos que si nuestra amiga canaria Margo Delgado estuviera, nos podía hablar sobre el salpicón de allá.
Pues, pero porque no lo estaba mencionando.
Otro amigo canario. Tani was saying, just finished a little sketch of my bathtub.
Awesome.
Super cool, yeah. Wishlist 011. Oh, happy to have you here. Wishlist 011.
I like your happy to have you.
Happy to have you?
That's like your thing. Happy to have you.
Happy to have you here.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. What was that?
Okay, me complimenting you and you then like apparently not doing the same.
Apparently. Wishlist 011 was saying, were you teaching in Italy recently? One day I might get to go to one of those.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we spent the last 2 weeks doing a workshop.
Yeah, we arrived 2 days ago. So, Sergi Arts dice, hola. Hola, Sergi.
Hola.
Hola, Sergi. Cravesen 54 dice hola. Hola, Cravesen 54. William Felipe dice hola.
Uy, William
Hola,
Felipe.
William. Tiempo sin oírlo. Eh,
Sí, William Felipe ya no tiene la disculpa de que es que está en la universidad y que
sí,
por eso...
no está.
Sí,
Bueno, pues puede estar trabajando, ¿no? Tú ahí.
no, no
Eso no es
creo.
excusa.
No, yo creo que se acabó de levantar William Felipe.
Eh, Ricardito dice,
Yes.
¿cómo les fue en su viaje? All the live streams are super cool. It's nice chilling with you all. Uy,
¿Qué hice?
no, no, no. I just saw your head and I
Okay.
thought you were like kicking the camera, but you weren't.
With
I was
my
like
head
super
kicking the
scared.
camera?
With your head, yeah. You always kick the camera with your head.
I headbutt the camera with my head.
Headbutt?
Well, I can't kick it with my head. I
You-
can kick it with my feet.
Kick is only for your feet?
I would say so, yes.
Pegarle. No.
Well, hit it with your head.
Mm.
No, Danny, come on. You kick is with your feet. You can't kick with your head. That's hard. That's called heading a ball in football.
Yeah.
I think you were thinking hitting.
Kick. You're kicking
Although, you know what? I love you. You can 100% say kicking with my head.
I was still gonna say it. So
So I'm going to use this thing.
PBO.
Yeah.
So like
Does
it's
this-
like vintage
Yeah,
OPL.
Where I don't really know. I'll look at it in a little bit in a second.
What?
I don't know if I used the water soluble ones or just a regular
The
color
pencils?
pencil. Yeah.
I think it's the water soluble
Yeah,
because of the
it
shape
really
of it.
picked up.
Yeah, but also because of the shape of it. Because it has like a different color.
Okay.
The pencil,
Yeah, I
like the
don't-
body of the pencil.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with that, but yeah, it lifted a lot of the where I was less committed, which was obviously the portrait.
There was a what? I'm sorry, I was reading a comment.
No, it lifts the pigment of the color.
Mm-hmm.
So in the other areas where I'm far more committed, like it can take the being dissolved by the primer,
Mm-hmm.
but in here it just kind of slowly disappeared, which is
Yeah.
totally fine, to be honest.
Because again,
Like,
I mean, you're
I
gonna
mean, it's
paint
gonna
on
be a
top
painting,
of that.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Sí.
Sí,
It's
sí.
gonna be a painting, sí.
Gloria Pritchett. Wesco Ehler 100
Okay.
was saying hello from Seattle. Any words on achieving the detailed quote unquote sculpted surfaces with wet on wet oil? My attempts always lead to flat. Washed out surfaces with no depth.
Oh, is this something that we've discussed or something?
No.
I forget if we had this conversation before. I apologize. Sculpted surfaces with wet on wet. Is that what? Could you read that to me again?
Any words on achieving the detailed sculpted surfaces with wet on wet oil? My attempts always lead to flat, washed out surfaces with no depth. I think it's they're not like talking about something you talked before.
Yeah.
It's just that we were talking about style because this comment went after style, so they're just asking like if you have any words towards that.
Oh, although wet on wet for me probably means something different than maybe what they're describing.
So maybe
'Cause-
they can let us know.
Because even my painting is like wet on wet.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
the stuff that we do every day is alla prima painting that's wet on wet. So the thing is I don't use like something like oil of cloves to keep the painting super super open so that I can come back to the painting, let's say tomorrow, and still have access to just a very fresh looking surface.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Also, you're working in raw paper.
yeah.
So it like dries super quickly because it absorbs all the oil.
Yeah.
So
So who was this person? I'm sorry.
Westcoehler.
How is
100.
it spelled?
Westkoehler. Westkoehler.
Oh, oof.
Westcoehler.
Or
Westcoehler.
Westkeller.
Westcoehler. I like Westcoehler.
I'm going to say Westkeller.
Westcoehler 100.
Okay, we don't have to, you know. So Westkeller, I'm sorry if
Westcoehler.
okay. Could you do something for me? Could you send that what you understand to be a failed attempt? Could you send a pic to that to Danny's?
Yes, to my Instagram. Like a DM.
So we can take a look at that if you don't mind.
So I don't know if they're still here.
Oh, so maybe tomorrow.
If they're still here, they can send it.
Maybe tomorrow.
And we could, if they're here tomorrow, they can let us know and we could talk about that. So
yes.
Bradley Moreno was saying, nice to be here with you guys yesterday and today. I've been trying
Bradley.
to catch up, listening through the old live streams, and I've only made it to January. Nicolas
that's
dropped
awesome.
so many nuggets of paintings wisdom that I don't want to miss out on any
Oh,
he
stop
might
it.
share in those sessions. Haha.
Oh, stop it.
It's mainly food, animals,
Yeah, the nuggets that that are falling off my mouth.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Ana Azuela dice, hola Dani y Nico, gracias por hablar de esto, tiene mucho sentido lo que están diciendo cuando estamos hablando de estilo.
Sí. Gracias.
¿Ibas a decirme algo?
No. Well, no, I don't know.
Oh, so Westcoehler was saying, I'm here, haha.
Oh, awesome.
So maybe they can send us the picture.
Okay.
So let's see.
He's probably loving the way you say his last name.
Westcoehler?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be... I never try to be disrespectful. It's just like my
just comes off
Colombian accent.
Let's
filtering.
blame it on Another thing to blame on Colombians.
No. What
We are
picture
so
do
very
you mean?
sorry.
Westcoehler was saying, what picture do you mean? Because Nicolas was asking if you could send one example of that, what you're describing, I'm sorry, as like a failed attempt.
Yes.
On creating sculpted surfaces. The one you were talking
wet
that was
on
like
wet.
super washed out surfaces.
So if you show me that and if you send me that and I can see it, I can try to make sense of why you understand it to be not successful.
Oh, they were saying it's a German name, sorry. So maybe it's Westcoehler.
Okay, that's terrible.
Wesco? No, because I've learned, I don't know if that's terrible, but I've learned that German sounds a little bit more like Spanish reading than English reading.
Yeah, but the
and
W is already it's V. It's V.
So Westcoehler.
No,
they're saying no, because there's Westcoehler. Because they're telling us K-A-Y guion L-E-R.
So Westcoehler.
Kai or K? K-A-Y.
So I would say K.
Kaler.
Yeah. Westcoehler.
Okay.
Westcoehler.
And maybe, I mean, if you're comfortable with it, because they're saying, haha, I will send a photo to you, and thank you very much for the help. Maybe you can send us a voice note on how to do the correct pronunciation, so we're not
Danny,
like butchering your name.
You're gonna forget tomorrow.
Tomorrow, no.
Tomorrow you're gonna be our friend Westcoehler.
No. Yeah, but that's not out of disrespect. It's just that my brain works in funny ways. Mysterious, funny ways. So I'm just waiting for that.
And I'm waiting for paint to dry.
But you're gonna paint today?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be like another 24 hours.
No, and you can see how much it's warping.
Yeah, it is. It has to like dry. Are you gonna do coats in the back part of it?
I should. I usually go. I either do 2 and then very quickly 1 in the back. I never go past 2 without doing 1 in the back, because ideally you want to have the same tension in the back as you have in the front, and that the the fibers of your paper are going to be as balanced as they could be if you do that. So what I would do, but I can't do right now because it's still a little bit tacky, is flip it. And it dries this fast because it's the first layer. First layers of primer usually dry very, very fast, even if you have like something sealing your substrate like rabbit skin glue or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because fibers are still quite open. Rabbit skin glue is not like an incredible sealant. No. And we use a very diluted version of that, of what can be a powerful hide glue. So the surface is still, be it paper or be it cloth or any flexible surface, it's still going to be quite absorbent. And the first layer that you put down is going to be absorbed the quickest. After that, whatever you're priming with, it could be paint like lead white, or it could be a universal primer. It could be like an acrylic gesso primer. But whatever you put down, whatever subsequent layers you put down, they tend to dry slower. So first one is pretty nice. The first one you could say like, oh my God, I could do this like right now. Like it's going to take me 10 minutes to do this. And then you put that one on top of this one and you realize, okay, that's going to take, it's better to leave it at night. And what I usually do, just not to rush it, is I would do this, I could do the drawing and then do this. And then tomorrow I would press it. Tomorrow I would put, 6 books on top of this. So it's nice and flat. So it would take a little bit. But while doing that, I could be doing another drawing for another painting. So you never like stick to one painting, because then you would be very inefficient if you do that. I mean, you can do it, but you're just going to lose precious time if you have to do a lot of works. So.
No, I was typing, but I think it's easier to say it.
Yeah.
Because Platini Athens was saying white, lemon, ochre, vermilion, carmine, umber, and ultramarine. So nope, it's titanium white, bismuth yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium red, alizarin, raw umber, and ultramarine blue.
Yeah. What did he say, or they said? I'm sorry.
They were saying white, lemon, ochre, vermilion, carmine.
Yeah, carmine.
Umber.
And ultramarine.
And ultramarine.
Very close.
Yeah.
That's actually very good. Yeah. What Platini, what you were saying, it's a perfect variation of this
your
palette.
palette. Yeah.
Yeah, because that could be vermilion. Alizarin is like carmine red, so that's totally fine. This is sort of like lemon yellow. It's a little, less yellow green than lemon yellow, and maybe half a step darker in terms of value, but it's still, lemon yellow would be perfectly suited for that. That is ochre, that's ultramarine, and that's titanium white. So very, very close. If those are the colors that you have that kind of echo this that you see here, then you're perfectly fine.
So, William Felipe se está delatando que hace muchísimo tiempo no está en los live streams.
Yo sé.
Porque dice que Dani, estás pelirroja, y una cara con la boca abierta.
No.
O sea que William Felipe no escuchó nada de todo el drama. Y sí, estoy pelirroja, ahora estoy pelirroja.
Que él se ponga rojo de la vergüenza.
Sí, debería.
De no
Más
saber,
rojo que mi pelo.
De no saber qué.
De no estar acá hace tanto.
O sea, él estuvo las 24 horas.
Y se cansó.
Y después dijo, chuleado esto.
Sí, mucho de ellos.
Sí, qué mamera
de
gente.
La verdad lo entiendo.
Me voy a ir a estudiar. Hasta luego.
¿Y por qué a estudiar, a trabajar? También estudiar, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Hace tanto que no está que ya se me olvidó.
No,
¿Quién es que estamos
casado.
hablando?
Yo creo que ya se casó. Los niños de él son los que están estudiando. So I'm going to do one coat for the back.
Yeah, so Ricardito
Mm-hmm.
me dice, Dani, te he mandado una foto en tu Instagram. ¿A ustedes les aparece estas cosas en el chat? No sé si saben que aparecen y como que son inapropiadas.
What?
No sé. Sí, esos son los bots. O sea, ese es el spam que nos llega.
Mm-hmm.
Pero Por eso dice message deleted en la foto que nos mandaste, Ricardito, porque cada vez que aparecen lo que hago es, tengo que hacer 3 cosas: reportarlo, bloquearlo del canal y eliminarlo como comentario.
Tú haces lo
Que,
apropiado, que
que
tristemente no
esto
sirve de
iba a decir
nada.
exacto, o sea, me toma un montón de tiempo, incluso ahorita empezaron a aparecer más, entonces tengo que ponerme en esos, porque es que el problema es que me he dado cuenta que tengo que hacer eso antes de que con ese bot que crearon logren llenar el chat.
Mm.
Porque es que antes solamente los reportaba, pero cuando uno los reporta, ese mismo bot puede poner 40 comentarios en 2 minutos.
Sí, pues es que si uno ve las páginas de Ricardito, por ejemplo, vaya a la página del Barça, por ejemplo, la de cualquier,
Sí, todo
la
es
de
bots.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Los primeros, o sea, los primeros 2 comentarios son como de, o sea, va a ser como Neymar o algo, o sea, va a ser alguien como famoso diciéndole
Verificado,
algo.
alguien verificado.
Sí, y después lo que sigue son
Follow for follow
140
o cosas de
comentarios de
spam, sí.
mujeres como diciendo, ¿tú crees que soy sexy?
Sí.
O sea, todo el resto son bots,
Pero
todo
sí,
el
pero y
resto.
Ricardito dice, oh, ok, ok, solo quería que sepan nada más y un corazoncito. Sí.
No, sí,
No, muchas gracias. Sí,
Dani
es
no
una
hace sino,
mamera eso, pero
sí, peluquear esos comentarios todo
sí.
el tiempo
Y
ahí.
salen cada rato. Y hubo un tiempo en el que dejaron de aparecer. Y ahora otra vez están ahí como sale y sale y sale.
¿Será una medida de éxito el que
De
uno lo
pronto, pues
bombardeen
es
de
que ahora
bots?
hay 30.000 seguidores,
Yo
Nicolás.
sé.
Ahora sí vamos a estar llenos de bots.
29.000 de esos son bots.
No.
No, ¿qué tal?
Eh,
No compramos tantos.
no, no hemos comprado nunca
¡Ni
tampoco.
uno!
Pues no, y además, si hubiéramos comprado para 30.000,
Sí, qué huesera.
no. Mi, Mikael was saying, oh my god, this angle and drawing is so good. So not this one, I mean.
Yeah, it's my best drawing yet. Thank you, Mikael. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah,
Very kind.
Tommy Golunsky was saying, look at that mostly clean palette.
I know.
Because it's
What is happening? What is
unused,
going
yeah.
on here? Who is this person?
Bueno,
I love the mostly, Tommy. Thank you for that.
because it's not like perfectly clean.
Yeah.
I mean, now it feels like your
Oh,
palette.
Tommy, this is going to be so not. I should have answered like 2 months ago. Because, no, Tommy was asking us if we used like a software that Canon has. I think it's a remote thing that Canon has to, I think, control the camera settings from your computer while you're streaming if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use that, Tommy. Everything is wired. We go through a very inexpensive capture card. We don't use like Elgato or anything like that. That's like crazy expensive because we don't do. We only do like 1080p, and we don't even go for 60 FPS. So we're like doing very basic 1080p, 30 FPS. Very lightweight in terms of the image, but good for streaming, honestly, so that enough people can see it and we'll have no problem with it, and we
Yes.
won't have enough. We won't have problems with our bandwidth or anything like that. So no, it's just OBS and Danny.
Yeah.
That's Danny setting everything up.
Yeah, and me with the very, very inexpensive webcam.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, or you know, the high point of our setup is
This webcam.
the best of 3 webcams that we bought
Yeah.
in one night.
Yeah, like a
Trying to
$25.
get like a good webcam, but it's like a $20 webcam
Yeah.
that is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, well, I mean, you
But
can
it does
see
the job.
me.
It makes you more of a redhead, so I think that that's a good. If you wanted one thing from a webcam, it was that.
So, do you feel it's okay to wrap today's live stream?
Yes.
I'm gonna read and show you the picture that
Yes. Oh,
that they were sending us. They didn't send the live
that
the voice note.
Vestkaler.
Yeah,
Vestkaler.
Vestkaler. So They were
Veskela.
saying, hello, I asked the funny question about quote unquote sculpted surfaces
Yes.
because mine are so flat.
Let me see
This
that.
shows, wait,
Okay.
because
Wait.
I'm reading from the phone.
Oh, sorry.
This shows what I mean. The skin looks kind of flat and unnatural and doesn't have all of the detailed shading and planes of you guys' work.
Let me see that.
I didn't even saw it.
Yeah.
See what
Herr Veskela.
I don't know if they want to show it or not, so
Okay, no, I'll keep it. It's not bad.
no.
It's not bad at all. No. I would say it's monochromatic Vescaler.
And I would also say, I mean, I'm seeing it,
It
from
looks
afar.
very kind of like light earth, mid earth, dark earth.
But I was going to say that I don't think it's bad
No, not at
to
all.
have like plain things. Because that, again, we were talking a ton about like style and things, but I mean, quote unquote style. But
Yeah.
I think that maybe that goes hand in hand with your sensibility. And if that's something that's like part of your painting, you should not try to make it different, but just like
Well, maybe they're not
learn to
satisfied
understand
though.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
he clearly is saying that he's not satisfied with the result. So he's maybe looking for something more. All I could say is that you're using like a very rational way of painting. Like you've chosen to paint with like light earth, like you've chosen earth tones, and you've chosen a lighter version for those a lighter version
You okay?
version of those earth tones for your lights, and a darker version of those earth tones for your shadow.
Mhm.
So it all kind of remains at the same level. So think about it. It's almost as if you were painting a Barbie or a Ken doll, kind of plasticky feeling, because there's no variations in their skin, because it's not skin, it's just plastic. So what you can try to do is begin to let go of this idea of skin, for example, because that's what you're interested in. Skin being this very kind of simple thing in terms of color. Skin is enormously complex. It's incredibly fascinating to attempt to paint skin, and I guess that's why there's been so many efforts in doing that throughout the centuries. But it's only so because it's so difficult, so very, very, very difficult to try to communicate flesh. It's fascinating. It is a lifetime of searching. So what we have learned from centuries of doing tons of ways of approaching painting skin is that it is highly complex in terms of color. Highly, highly complex in terms of color. So white people are not painted with white. Black people are not painted with black. Brown people are not painted with brown. So, for example, in black people, oh my God, you have purples and siennas and greens and blues. I mean, it is incredible. Like there's a gorgeous range. I would say it's a far more varied range of hues that you get with a darker skin tone. So much so that people that have kind of grown accustomed to painting a very sort of quote unquote efficient way of painting light skin tones, and they have forgotten how to look at nature because they have kind of married to a formula of painting lighter skin tones. When they see somebody who has a darker skin tone, they are far more sensitive to the color shifts that are present in that skin, because they are not able to rationalize those colors. And that's what we should always do. Yes, there is going to be like an amount of earthiness to our skin, be it lighter skin, mid-tone skin, browner skin, darker skin, blacker skin. There's always going to be like this earthiness that's going to be enveloping, but within that, there's blues and violets and purples and reds and oranges. I mean, there's so much color that you kind of have to open your mind and start to see and start to learn how to be sensitive to that color, so that you can access the idea of how color can emphasize the turning of, that shape that you want to paint, which is in this case is a portrait, the turning of that portrait in space. So every time that portrait turns in space, every time those planes turn in space, you can actually think of that turning as a new color, as an opportunity to paint with a completely new color. And I think that that's what you have to start to train yourself to see. Not in terms of, I chose my color, my base color, and I'm going to make my tints and my shades of that color. I'm going to make it lighter and darker. And it'll feel very basic, very solid, but very monochromatic. You have to start to be sensitive to every shift that you see in temperature, every shift that you see in hue, every shift that you see in value, which deserves like a new mix, to be interpreted as a new color. So it's quite a road ahead, but I don't think at all that you're starting at a bad place. I think you're in a good place. And the fact that you are not satisfied with it means that you are willing to search and observe. So the exercise that you can do is, when you feel something is warmer, just as an exercise, overemphasize the warmness. When you feel something is yellow, overemphasize the yellowness. When you think something is purple, overemphasize the purple. The idea is not to make like a super, overly expressive portrait. Like you're not searching for like neo expressionism here. No, what you're searching for is for your ability to respond to a stimulus. Like, so if you are understanding something is yellow, you're going to try to teach yourself how to say yellow. And the degree in which you say yellow is going to speak about how sensitive you are to those changes. So if you want to paint that forehead yellow, like absolute Kirchner Matisse yellow, then that's the painter that you are. That's the Fauvist expressionist painter that you are. But if you want to control it and say, well, it's slightly yellower, it's not quite yellow, but it's yellower than this other place that is redder, then maybe you are a more rational painter and you're going to be searching for a more of a naturalist sort of outcome. But you have to explore that. And to be able to explore that, you have to sort of reach those limits or explore those limits and say, okay, I taught myself how to be sensitive to those changes in hues. Now I'm going to control them to the degree that you want to control them. Maybe you want to push them. Maybe you want to oversaturate them even more. But that depends on you. So that would be my advice. Hopefully it serves a purpose.
So
yes,
we're good.
I think we're good as this little piece of paper takes a beating.
Okay, so I'm gonna just read two final comments. So Thumb Jordan, as I call him.
Oh, as you call Thumb. Yes.
Thumb.
Look at this.
Thumb Jordan.
The good thing about, like, for people that have never,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. So I'm sorry, Thumb. Tom Thumb. It
Tom's
just,
thumb.
yeah, it'll just take a second. So for people that are super scared when this happens to your paper is amazing. Paper is far stronger than what you think. So what is happening now is that all those fibers have absorbed your in this case, acrylic primer, transparent acrylic primer. And as they understand that this primer is drying and contracting them, as it dries, the fibers immediately are going to contract. Like your paper is actually becoming smaller as this is happening. But what you don't really see is how resilient paper is, that it may not go to the original size, like because the fibers have shrunk a little bit when they wet themselves, and they don't wet themselves. We put something that's wet on top, but when they are wet, they are gonna, and while the glue basically is kind of like drying, it really, really contracts. But when that settles, those fibers are like, okay, we can kind of slowly, not go back to our original state, but they can just like slowly ease a little bit. So it requires a tiny bit of patience. You not thinking it's the end of the world if your paper is like suddenly, oh my God, look at this. This is horrible. Like it's curling on the corners. It's all warpy. Like, oh, I just killed my painting. What am I going to do? Don't worry. Like, don't freak out. That's totally normal. And your paper is going to slowly just kind of level. But you got to give it time. So what I'm going to do as while Danny reads Thumb's comment is to apply like second layer on this one. And it's going to make it even worse. But it gets worse and then it gets better. And again, you don't have to be scared about those things.
I'm going to read that and we close, you think?
Yes.
Okay. So, Thumb Jordan was saying, I'm not sure.
Thumb.
I'm not sure which
Thumb.
I'm not sure which I come to the live streams more for now. The paintings or how funny you are when you're teasing each other. Also, Thumb was like the perfect
yeah, for people that don't know
timing.
Us, it's always a bit.
That's our relationship, yeah.
Yeah, we are always teaching each other very lovingly.
That's like
but
our
it's
love language. Yeah.
Never, don't ever get worried about us or if we're
about
being,
Nicolas, please.
Yeah, if we're being too hard on.
Very good puns, but he's okay.
I'm gonna be fine.
And I'm gonna be fine
and
too.
Danny,
so.
yeah. And when I make fun of Danny, like it is always we know each other.
We're just like
now.
Making fun with each other. That's the way our relationship is.
That's the way our relationship started, and that's the way it's been going 6 years after. So
yes,
it only works because of that. We know we get each other.
And all the jokes are always with respect.
Oh,
I mean
never
that's
mean.
like the base of our relationship. So.
And when we're mean, we sometimes let ourselves like be mean like for a second, and then we both laugh about it.
But it's but you know
but
what
it's
happens?
never like
it's not like it doesn't come from apart.
No,
like it doesn't come from wanting to hurt each other. It's just like
laughing.
funny.
It's just laughing
like
with
our
each
humor.
other.
Yeah. So I think that's why we never feel offended because we know it comes from a loving place. It's never like I'm trying to disguise what I'm saying with humor, but I'm just like trying to be mean with you. No, never.
Not publicly ever you would do that. No.
Yeah. Thumb Jordan said, I understand. That's how I always communicate with my partner. Too playful.
Awesome.
It is. Yeah. So, Jean-Claude
Van Damme?
Michel.
No way. Oh.
Okay.
I don't know. I got excited for
Jean-Claude Michel
Van Damme?
Jr.
Oh, sorry.
Junior was saying, hello, Nicolas and Danny. Thank you so much for OPL. I have watched this channel from the beginning. I have not seen every episode. You guys are such an inspiration.
Oh, thank
what
you.
are you using to seal this? Oh, so first of all, thank you so much, Jean-Claude.
Yes.
Jean-Claude.
So we are using the one thing that we had that we were using initially when we started at OPL. We're using the thing that I used for almost every single page of the sketchbook that doesn't exist anymore.
That was later.
Part of our publication.
Called Our Painted Lives.
Called OPL, yeah.
No, OPL. Our Painted Lives.
Our Painted Lives, I'm sorry.
Because this is OPL. So.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
Know your way around, Nicolas.
Okay. Power trips someone is having here. So
power trip?
Yeah. So we made a transition to raw paper because at one point, some years back, they were not bringing this.
Más a la derecha, es que
they
no
were
se ve.
not bringing this little guy here.
Yeah. It's
They
very
had stopped
cheap here.
importing this, and it was very sad because I had grown quite accustomed to buying this. Like I would go to the store, and if they had 10 of these, I would buy the 10 of them.
Yeah.
So I apologize for the people that were looking for these when they went to the store because if they had them at one point, I was buying them. And the only reason I like this particular brand because I've used Lefranc, one of Lefranc.
Yeah.
Is because Lefranc's is really tacky, and you have to you end up realizing that it's hard on the brush, and you have to water it down, and you never get like the quite the right consistency. This one, the PBO one or the PBO one, straight off the tube, it's just great consistency. You don't have to do anything to it.
I think it's funny because I think that happens because it's pretty cheap, so maybe they have to dilute it.
Well,
but the good thing is that it's like
resins,
acrylic
perfect. Resins.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that it's like it was like the perfect mix.
Yeah.
For the perfect.
I think it's a
acrylic
really good
binder
product
for you.
I think it's a great product.
because you tried a couple.
A bunch of them.
Yeah. When this one wasn't coming to Colombia anymore.
Yeah.
And you didn't like it. And I remember I even get one for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is crazy because it's super bad because I also tried using it. It wasn't, I'm not going to say the brand, but it was like 4 times the price.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good.
It was terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
You know which one I used in one of the workshops, in a couple of the workshops that people, because people say in the US, people say, no, I can't get that.
No, and it's like super expensive. I remember
Yeah.
someone told us that in Amazon in
it's
US,
crazy. No,
it's
this
like
is very
crazy
cheap.
expensive. This is like less than
right
$5.
now of the dollars, $4.
$4.
Not even, yeah.
Yeah.
So this what was I gonna say? Fuck me, I
that
forgot.
in a workshop.
In a workshop.
So we can use that and clothes.
Yeah, Danny has somewhere to be.
No, I'm just. I
so
don't know
in one of my workshops,
is sounding.
people, or in a couple of the workshops, people bought the transparent gesso. I forget which brand it was, but they said, "Is that okay?" They wrote to me, "Is that okay?" And I was like, "I've never used it, but I guess it's okay. If it says transparent gesso, that's totally fine." What I didn't know is that I think they put pumice in the gesso.
Oh, so it has like a ton of texture. Is it the Liquitex?
Liquitex, yes. The Liquitex transparent gesso.
Oh, you can see it here.
Yeah, it has pumice in it.
Yeah.
What I'm guessing is pumice. Maybe it's some other. Maybe it's some calcium carbonate or something.
It makes sense if it's used for linen.
Maybe
to maybe
I think
get inside the
but
fibers of it.
Yeah, no. And some people like texture. Some people don't like acrylic because it's too plasticky feeling, and they really need like tooth to their paintings. Some people love tooth. Some people hate having tooth. Some people love very slick surfaces. But I didn't know that. And what I don't like about it is that when it dries, it's very like cardboardy. It's very kind of like tough. It just feels like a weird painting surface, to be honest. So I didn't like that one. But I'm sure there's people out there that swear by it and just absolutely adore it.
Yeah,
but
that's why, as you were saying, you have to build a relationship with your materials.
There you go.
So, thank you,
on
everyone.
that note,
Tom's
Tom's thumb.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
being
you.
here. Remember, if you want to see the painted part of this underdrawing,
Yes.
be sure to
Check out our video tomorrow.
Yes. And
we're going to do the underpainting only.
Yes, but I was going to say, make sure to subscribe if you want.
Yeah.
And ring the bell so you can know when we're going to be live.
When we're going to be ruining this beautiful underdrawing.
We're super happy to have you here.
Happy to have you.
Super happy to be back.
Yes.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Wait.
Wait.
Bye, everyone.
Wait.
Bye.